All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It has all been culminating down to this. It is the Ayumia Island Halloween Solos Finals. All of you guys, welcome to the tournament today. I am Shubi Senpai. I will be the caster for you guys tonight, and alongside me, he's finally back. He abandoned me yesterday. Small
Yep,
talk though. It's all right. It's
yep.
Bramplix.
We love abandoning Shubi on his
Oh,
most dire days. How's the avatar go again? We needed him the most, he disappeared.
I missed you yesterday, man. I missed you yesterday, but I brought up some small stuff yesterday in regards to your plans, and you're like, it's okay. But thinking back at it now, it's kind of sad.
Kind of sad. Wait, what happened yesterday? Or what plans did you discuss about me?
I
What did you say
don't.
behind my back, huh?
Oh, oh,
Huh?
oh.
No, thank you. I'm really happy to be back here. I'm sorry that I made you go through 8 straight games yesterday and then another 5 today. So you're gonna be casting 13 games in total, and I think we actually went through something. I forget if, or like I think last week with the qualifier groups, we went through a similar, I guess, gauntlet. But I think that week I think you're joining me for the first day, and then I think Kaz was with me the second day. So I basically got to inflict the pain that I felt then on you. Except you have it way worse because you have to go through way more games than I did.
So I
Smile.
guess I guess the next time we're doing this kind of stuff, we're just gonna leave Kaz out on the open.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll just force him. We'll just force him to cast like 20 games in a row. Like I know
Oh.
we're just increasing the game amount. Like I think I had to go through like 8 or 9 games throughout 2 days, and you're going through 13 games in 2 days. So Kaz will have to go through like 18. Yeah, 18 games or something. Sounds good to
Huh.
me. Yeah.
So in a way, I guess getting it second wasn't like necessarily the worst thing.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where they say you always want to go first because it
Mhm.
feels it feels the best when you're going first because you have the least amount of pressure, and then as people get more and more used to it, they're like, oh yeah, we can triple book our casters like 15 days in a row, like, it's fine. And then suddenly you're the person, like, the person who last joins the Eternal Return casting community, they're gonna have to cast like 30 games in one day, just because why not?
Oh yeah,
That's
one
that's
hundred.
that's not that's the future, really.
We're the future of casters looks. I'm not gonna say bleak, but hey, if you're enthusiastic about casting, hey, 13 games in 2 days, and eventually for Kaz like 20, as Brand said, hey, we are getting excited for this kind of stuff. This is what we want to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah,
And
ah.
obviously, these tournaments aren't about us. We'll just give a quick
Mhm.
introduction to all the players that made it through, because I watched a bit of the games, but I wasn't like too certain on who
Oh,
qualified. So this will be
oh,
also an introduction for me as well, because
Brand.
my memory is a little. I watched all the games, but I didn't like study the players right. So
Brand.
well, we don't talk about it. Yeah. So in the lobby right now, I think we're only waiting on Waterfudge. So
Yes, we
we're
are.
17 out of 18,
Why are we
as
waiting
usual.
on? Why are we waiting on Water Fudge,
Hopefully
Fran?
he can tell us himself. He's definitely not playing League of Legends ranked queue with a tournament on the line. But all that aside, we have Absolute Terror, Project Melody, Nine Cash, Wraith Kira, Niku Sushi, Lily Petal, Pie Master, Frankie Doodle, 200 MS, Trick, Jenny, Ghost Electricity, Bobo, Deus, Binky, Roy, Superior, and the missing 18th person, who hopefully will lose his rank game, honestly, at this point, because he's holding up everyone else. Waterfudge. So we'll just see how these games go. I'm personally kind of excited because I saw a lot of good gameplay yesterday. What I'm not personally excited for is watching Binky one-shot people, because that just means that I was getting nerfed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of discussed this yesterday as well on my end. There's a lot of things that you could really think about for that build, and amplification in this patch and a lot of other builds, we've been talking about this over and over again ever since preseason started. There's so many things that can happen, especially with the augment system being implemented. And then the whole thing with amplification drone, obviously, that is going to completely ramp up the amount of damage that you get off of builds that really excel off of a skill amplification percent. And there you go. Nunchuck right there at level 20 for weapon skill. For weapon level, you get plus 70% skill amplification. And that has been a number on the back of the minds for a lot of players until now. But until amplification drone came around, ooh, no one really thought about it. Then bam, there you go. And Toss it on a build on someone like Binky, who is probably by far the best lead Lin in North America, and a lot of other players know his name as well for that reason. You're going to have a pretty scary Lin running around the map. But do remember, this is the finals, and these players are all accustomed to one another, whether it's from in-houses, whether it's from ranked and high queues. These people know how to deal with one another in one way or another as well. So here we go, going into game number 1. No anti-P rule, no anti-OTP rules, so these players can play whatever they want for the 5 games that they are playing tonight. But the adjustments are going to have to be one of the most important aspects of being able to win out on this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I was looking at the builds that everyone was running, and I think most people, when they pivot routes, they almost always pivot the character as well. There's not that many characters who have optimized builds for, like, I guess, like multiple similar achieving build completes. Like, so I guess just like to read my point, like you have Chiara. She has a few different routes that work, but they're always different archetypes of Chiara. There's not like 2 routes for Chiara that both go crit, right? There's only like the one multi-clutter route that goes Hotel, Pond, Avenue into Alley. And then I don't really know what the tank Chiara routes are, but they're like totally different like zones that you route through. So despite the anti-OCP rule not being in place, like everyone can OTP whatever they want, we might still see pivots just because sometimes you have a route that just like seems really clean in ranked games, seems really clean in normal games. Let's just throw a random zone. Like let's say you go forced 4th zone, right? But this tournament lobby, let's just say like 5, 6, 7, 8 people route through force for their 1st through 3rd zones, and suddenly you're getting their 4th zone, and there's literally nothing left. And you need force to complete like your crown, your feather boots, or just any really important items, and you just never finish it. And that's the type of like an adaptation that's gonna be really important, because especially in finals, like it's not about qualifying anymore. You don't want to barely get 9th place or like 6th place by senior teeth. You really want to be the top 3, and that means you get your route goes super well. You start snowballing, you start murdering everybody, you place 1st or 2nd, and you get all of your points. Take place in the 1st. Sometimes maybe you get a little bit unlucky with your routing, but your build is still fast enough to farm. It's fast enough to like go to different zones, and you can still like bring it back and snowball through different means. But yeah, let's see how many people go like a more snowballing route, and how many people stick to their guns and just play the route that they know can snowball and can get the high kill, high win games.
Yeah, absolutely correct. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into game number 1. Game number 1 is sponsored and brought to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, it's sponsored and brought to you. It's sponsored, brought to you by the community and a certain
go.
somebody, a certain
What is like
dolphin
the
avatar.
how should we
floats
describe them?
around.
It's like game 1 brought to you by Flipper, and then we have like other people, right? What was the list again? It was like Flipper, Shadow. I think Min Hyun was on that list too, and we have to be like,
Yeah, Lucy.
oh yeah, Lucy. There you go. And then we have to be like, Eternal return free on Steam.
Oh yeah. The super announcer voice, like, brought to you by Flipper, Lucy, Minhai Yun, etc. Incorporated. We have the Ayumia Island Halloween Finals, brought to you live by Ayumi. Last 2 letters redacted because she hates them.
All right, but yeah,
like that sort of voice.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, going in, we are about a minute into game number 1. It does seem like Frankie Doodle sitting in chapel at the moment, just taking a look at a couple of these players' locations at the moment. Frankie most likely will be sticking with the Bleeder Jackie route. And do remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a finals, and the prize pool of $500 split into 3 different positions, as Bram mentioned earlier. First place will be getting 350, I believe. No, $300. Second place will be getting 150, and third place will be walking away with $50 in their hands. And with Frankie Doodle running that Bleeder route, I think one of the biggest things about the Bleeder route, you get to stay alive for a good chunk of the game, but in regards to the killing prowess of that build, gonna be a little bit difficult. So Frankie Doodle has a lot to do up his sleeve this tournament, and hopefully he can make up the amount of work that he actually needs to do by giving us a stellar performance on it.
Yeah, for sure. And just off the top of my head, I think the 3 players that I'm specifically looking at in terms of just like high kill, high placement consistency, actually 4 players. Just off the top of my head, I think Project Melody, Wraith Kira, Pymaster, and Binky are the top 4 people that I've personally seen like really get an insane amount of kills with high placings more than once in most of the tournament games that I've seen. Obviously, there's always room for an upset. Like I do not doubt that Absolute Terror or like Nine or any other player in this lobby can also pull off just a high win, high placement game consistently throughout the tournament. But those are just the 4 that I've personally like taken note of. Like they're always in final zones with like 2 or 3 kills. They're always like trying to get to the like brand into the game. And if they get like a few kills early game, then you can almost always expect for them to have like 4 by the time they die, if not win the game straight out.
Yeah, 100%. These kill-heavy density players, especially in finals, they're all going to be competing against one another as well. So we will really have to see how that goes. And as night 1 rolls around, we have heavy player densities around both of the trees at the moment, at least 2 running around the specific zones. And Roy is actually giving respect to Binky at the moment and allowing Binky to just pick up that tree. We have Trick also sitting on the Hotel Tree of Life as well. But knowing Roy, he is not going to let that through. The hat actually giving Roy vision there, so Binky taking a little bit more damage than he really wants to, and he will just let that tree go over to the Emma. Nico Sushi now gets jumped on by Frankie Doodle, who actually does pop the Chainsaw Murder, but will not be able to pick up the Sylvia as they just run away with the fuel, and Nico Sushi lives to see another day. And pretty quiet considering it's night number 1. Nine Cash will attempt to take out Absolute Terror. There is going to be the last judgment going down, but I'm not necessarily sure that might have been a good idea. He will just land a Mania and walk away. Absolute Terror, also respecting that Mania, decides to walk away from it as well. Nothing too vital happening in night number 1 at the moment. We do not have anyone dead as of now, but there is some little scuffling going on around from these players.
Yeah, we see Trick got the hotel tree. I think Trick probably was the person who poked Ghost down to half HP. Ghost is on the Shuriken Hedgen build, I believe, this game, and not the Bow Hedgen that we usually see him on, or that I personally saw him on most of the games. So yeah, he is playing Azure Dagger. He is playing the 3-zone route that lets you build all those items really, really quickly. But it seems like that early tempo that he got from running that route is not really paying off too much because he obviously lost tree to Trick, who is on Ava. And we did see during the scuffle between between Nine and Absolute Terror, Nine did manage to get the Meteor Claymore, and he also managed to get all the items that he needed to complete it before night 1 ended, which I feel like usually doesn't really happen. Usually when I see Nine get the first Meteor in these games, he's always scrambling and like on the Durandal for a really long time. So this definitely might be a game where he really succeeds in, because Chiara is in a decent spot, I believe, with the augment patch. I don't know if she's that crazy with the frenzy nerfs that have happened, but I do know that when she gets her ideal engagement, like when she lands the E, or God forbid you walk up to her in melee and she gets to press R on you and land most of her auto attacks, she does a lot of damage. And a lot of the characters that are in this game are very squishy. I think Shokai, Water Punch on Shokai is by far the tankiest character, and that would probably be the only person that Nine Cash won't be able to punch to 0 with a solid Frenzy proc. If he is running Frenzy, I actually don't know if I caught his augments.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct. The interesting thing about Crit Chiara nowadays is that, yes, the Durandal build that Nine pretty much brought forth into North America does absolutely still exist. But we've seen some other interesting developments, although Jenny is getting jumped on by multiple players at once at the moment. The damage out onto Deus is quite massive, but Jenny will just go into play dead in an extreme amount of stacks towards their passive being built up over time during that initial fight. Meesroy will have to jump over the wall as well with the hat trick and the change. They're still getting fought over all over the place. Avenue being a very heavily density area for some of these players going into day number 2. Binky being in this area 100% will most likely be aiming for the good old Cerberus on their side. Nine Cash, however, they will finally be able to last that land that last judgment on top of the Sylvia, and Project Melody being the first Sylvia to be taken out in game number 1 here at about 7 minutes into the game. It is not Nico Sushi who's been getting very much bullied out in the early portions. But instead, one Sylvia that gets sandwiched amongst many players will actually get knocked down over towards Temple. And it seems like Jenny will be the second one to fall as well. And it's going to be Nico Sushi who comes in and picks her up with the Q as well. Now, Nico Sushi has the full amount of fuel. The pull is actually going to get dodged away from Nico Sushi as well. Deus in a little bit of trouble. There is the bubble going down. And, oh, okay. Absolute Terror picking up Pie Master on the other side of the map as well. This is all over the place. Nine being at the right time at the right place, and Deus will get taken down. No, the bubble is actually going to cancel out the damage from Last Judgment, but I do not necessarily see Deus getting away from this unless Nine really allows it to be. Nine not will. Okay, getting pulled back. Free at Last will go down as well. Caltrap's doing a little bit more than Nine really anticipates that to be, but movement speed is all over the place. Ghost Electricity will take down another player as well. This Lumia Island area has been absolutely exploding with action starting from the 7-minute mark. 3 players dead from 7 to 8 minutes, and this is already a bloodbath.
Yeah, that was an absolute explosion of action that just happened. We saw Jenny getting their passive popped in Avenue and coming back to bite them in the back as they got re-engaged on by Deus up in Temple. But fortunately, or I guess unfortunately for Deus, but fortunately for Niku Sushi, Niku Sushi was actually the one who ended up taking the kill on Jenny there with a radar gun to the face. And then, as we saw, like there was an entire like mess where we missed the kill on Pie Master because it happened off the screen while we were watching another fight to Absolute Terror. So Absolute Terror killing one of the people that I mentioned earlier that was really probably going to be able to get like a high kill game. Actually, 2 players that I specifically mentioned are down. Project Melody and Pie Master are both down. But yeah, Absolute Terror taking out one of the main contenders for, I think, winning this tournament is a pretty big upset depending on how the fight went. And then obviously Roy getting taken out up in the corner as well by Ghost Electricity. I think that was probably because Ghost had taken I feel like Roy had taken a fight with someone a bit earlier, and that's the reason why they were down cooldowns. But there's so much had happened that we couldn't see. And yeah, in the end, 4 people down within a minute of game time. Actually kind of crazy.
100%, but on that note, it seems like Wraith Kira is going to try to jump onto Water Fudge. Remember, Walk It Off gets a higher cooldown if you do not hit somebody with their Wraith Kira. It does have the second proc of Rampage, but they do hear the Bullseye being charged up. Water Fudge trying to use their ultimate to push away Lily Petal does about half of their HP and will just walk away from this. But do remember, Water Fudge is also walking into many players that are situated over towards Factory. We'll just jump the wall. We can see that in the minimap in towards Cemetery and walk down to Chapel, which for what it is also heavily populated. Nine will get jumped on by Ghost Electricity. They are not sitting in a good situation right now. They will be forced to pop the Plague. There's the Mania as well. Is the damage output going to be there? It is. So Nine will be able to knock down Ghost Electricity, but they now have another problem in their hands, and Waterfudge will actually back away from that. So Nine Cash sitting with a solid 2 points. Okay, here we go. Binky trying to fight it out onto Absolute Terror. They will just vault over, and Binky getting taken down as well. Absolute Terror knocking down 2 of the most important players in this game. He is already carrying this lobby, starting from the get-go. Nico Sushi now will try to fight on over to Superior. They will get taken down as well. A sequence of skills wonderfully landed by Superior that will take out the second Sylvia of game number 1, and there is action all over the place. Nine Cash, they will land the Mania, but Lily Petal is still on the chase. Wolfusel will slow down Nine a little bit longer, and with that Hail of Arrows, noticing that Wraith Kira is also in Chapel, they will just back off. However, Nine is still in trouble. They will have to pop the Plague. Crack the Plague? Sure, yeah, we'll go with that as well. And he will just walk away from this for now, although Wraith Kira is still on the chase.
Yeah, and again, we can really see just the value of having your, I guess, transition items very early on. Nine Cash, Ghost initially had a really good engagement onto Nine Cash, but I think due to him getting an early kill and him being able to just create more items since he got his Meteor Claymore way faster, he managed to live through the burst that Ghost Electricity put on him. And with that, he managed to turn a fight that seemed to be in Ghost's favor. We do see Frankie kind of getting smacked around by 2 players in school, actually being surrounded by potentially 5 different people, and we're coming back to Nine Cash still being ran down by Wraith Kira. He is waiting for his ultimate to come back up, but Kira is really trying his best to make sure that Nine drops before that happens, and Nine going down to Wraith Kira, despite having his Meteor Claymore, despite having 2 kills already. Oh my gosh, more action happening in Dock as we see Waterfudge trying to burn down Superior, but Superior is dodging really well through the walking phase and actually takes down Fudge at the very end. He managed to juke through the waves of walking in between, and honestly, that's like way harder than it seems to do. Like
Mhm.
juking Shokai waves is so hard to do as a melee character because Shokai can almost always land them if they just spam the right click on you. So Superior managing to juke like 3 or 4 waves at the end of that is a huge deal. So yeah, even more players going down. I was gonna mention again that we had 3 players just go down instantly. From we went to I think 14 to 11 players, and we had 2 people dropped almost immediately after that state. I want to make that statement. So accelerated zone closing will be a concept that's going to be really pushing down these players to group up even more than they already have, which is going to be kind of tricky because Wicklin is going to be spawning in about 10 seconds. And I think Wicklin kind of bugs out if you close zones too fast, so we might be seeing that happen this game.
Yeah, one thing that I really did want to note about Kira being able to kill Nine Cash in that red zone up in Cemetery, Nine Cash had 2 meteorites that he was able to manage to pick up in this game very early in as well. One of them did go towards the Meteor Claymore. The other one, from what it seemed like earlier, actually went into the Moonlight Pendant. So Nine was not weak at all, and he was just running around, as you mentioned exactly, waiting for that plate to come back up, since he does need that range advantage against someone like Kira's Yugi. But it just timing is everything when it comes to that, and Kira just taking complete advantage of it. We do also see the Chinese Opera Mask in his inventory as well. So this Yuki at the moment is very strong, but up against Superior, will that really be the case? The blind also coming through. There is a bunch of skills that Superior is missing. He cannot miss these hits, and he will just walk away, trying to bide his time, wait for his skills to come back up. Kira will actually use a Gentleman's Dash, but still will get taken out by Superior, and he is sitting on absolutely wonderful items at the moment, while Absolute Terror is struggling against Deus over towards Cemetery, over towards Forest. I'm sorry, and this should be wiggling control solely by Deus at the moment. Who has the CCTV vision? We are not entirely sure. But whoever has more information will have a lot more of a positional advantage over Wickling at the moment. Absolute Terror now is the closest to Wickling, but they will just walk away from this straight into the hands of Superior. There's a good skill rotation landing from Superior. The hammer skill also going down as well. So the defense of Absolute Terror is gone, and that directly leads to his death. Superior picking up multiple kills in a very short amount of time. 4 kills under his name while Wickling walks over towards Doc.
Yeah, something important to note is that Superior is not running Diamond Shard, which I've heard is really popular on Sua these days because it gives an insane amount of defense. Superior is actually running Vampiric Bloodline, which is ramping up his damage super fast. I think it's kind of misleading because, oh, actually, we see Dave's just yoinking Wicklin here, but it's really misleading because the damage that you see initially from Superior is not what his damage is actually going to be if you continue to take the fight, because Vampiric Bloodline only gives you Omnivamp up until it hits 4 stacks, and then gives you a massive amount of Omnivamp. So people might be taking the fight with Superior, not realizing that there's actually more burst damage on the back end of his combos than there are on the front end. And we see Bobo just kind of kiting around Superior. Superior's probably fine to do this because he's already super ahead. He has every item he needs to win this game. He's just probably taking the free mastery, and Bobo popping his ultimate will jump over the wall for some extra safety. But yeah, we have Deus, who has no kills but Wicklin and 3 transition items, which is absolutely massive. We have Lily Petal, also with no kills, equal mastery to Deus, but with also 3 transition items. So we have 2 characters who have not snowballed, who have technically not snowballed through kills, having the highest weapon mastery and also having an insane amount of upgrade items. And honestly, if I was Superior, I wouldn't be too confident in taking the win in this game. Obviously, Superior is very ahead on tournament points, but in terms of actually closing out the game, it's still kind of up in the air because there's 2 characters that actually have more upgrade items than he does, and also the weapon mastery is higher, so anything can happen. You actually see right here, Lily Petal gonna get initiated by Superior, taking the full combo as she has to vault over the wall, trying to fight for her life, but unfortunately, second melee range of Sua spells death to almost every ranged character in this patch. So one of the characters that one of the players I was pointing out to potentially be a problem for Superior, going down super easily. I guess I should stop trying to make predictions because I've been wrong on every end so far.
Yeah, I
Kinda
mean,
crazy.
still, this is one of the power spikes of Superior, right? If he gets confident on that kind of character, he will absolutely start going ham. And at this point, with sitting on 5 kills too, and he's killed a lot of players in game number 1 here with so many upgraded items that at this point he is absolutely on a high when it comes to his morale. And this man will do you no wrong. If he gets a skill landed off, especially with the vampiric that you mentioned earlier, he will be going in on you. It seems like Bobo now getting jumped on by Trick, probably running the frailty like before. Yes, that does seem to be the case. This seems to be the augment that Trick is just going to stick with when it comes to the Eva. And now it's just going to be a fight between Trick and Deus. He's going to try to their best. There is the pull, and Trick now being in a little bit of trouble. They are going to take a lot of damage, and will Free at Last? Yes, it will. Free at Last will knock down Trick. No frailty available to them for the duration of that fight, thanks to it popping off on Bobo, and Deus will take that no problem whatsoever. Now it's a Taproot upgrade for Deus as well. Not looking good for some of these players on Lumia Island that are remaining, but our 2 rats of Bobo and Frankie Doodle are still doing fine and dandy. They're just waiting for the points to slowly roll in as some of these players that are a little bit more squishy and risk much more staying alive on the map, as they need to, actually outplay some of these characters, because if they get caught out once, they will get manhandled, and it's going to be 200 MS. Deus walking around. They really need the information at this point in Chapel, as this will be the final zone. And it's not looking too great for some of these players, because a Sua will just jump on top of you pretty much if you make a single mistake, and that really needs to not be the case for some of these players. Superior just slowly walking around, a couple of traps in their inventory as well. They have so much fish and chips, and some of them are even Shukai food as well. So Superior is sitting on very, very good inventory at the moment. Going into these final couple of zones, Bobo will do a second rotation of just ring around the rosy against Superior. But who has more time? I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah, I think at this point it's guaranteed that Superior has way more timer than Bobo, with the recent timer changes that Nimble Neuron put, where you start at 30 seconds, but you can cap out at 40 seconds now with kills and objective takes. And as we can tell by the scoreboard, Superior has 5 kills, Bobo has none, and I don't think Bobo has taken any objectives. So in terms of a timer plays, I think Superior is definitely way ahead in that regard. Superior's probably ahead on everybody outside of Deus on timer, especially now that Deus has 1 kill. But we will see how these final zones work. 200 MS does have the smart bombs up and loaded, but the real question is, does Superior or does 200 MS have the Dismantle Goliath augment? Because if he does, those smart bombs don't do anything, and I think it's impossible for us to know what they have as yep, okay, he does have Dismantle augment, so 200 MS will go down almost instantly, as his bombs they work after he dies. They work after he dies. Because I think Dismantle Goliath deactivates after you go down, so 200 MS's bombs doing more work after he's dead than when he was alive. So yeah, that's 1 more kill to Superior. I was gonna try and say earlier, before all that happened, is that I think Deus is the only player who's piloting a character that is potentially favored against Sua, because you have 2 auto attackers. Well, you had 3 at some point, but you have 2 auto attackers now that are also melee and suffer a lot from Sua blinding them, and we see that they really do not want to go into Sua's final zone, so they're both just hovering around Deus. I think at this point it's an unspoken agreement for them both to try and jump Deus at some point, because they definitely don't really want to fight each other, because Deus is just going to get both kills if they do that. So they're going to be running around. Yep, we see Bobo jumping onto Deus. Frankie Doodle is respecting the fact that he doesn't want to be too obviously ratioing the Cicella, so he will be jumping Bobo, trying to get 1 kill before Deus cleans up. And we do see Bobo. The chase begins as Deus is just running behind them, trying to pick up the points. Actually, Deus is at risk of just dying if he... Oh, nope, okay. He has more timer with the kill on Frankie Doodle, thankfully for him. So, Superior will be right next to... Bobo as Bobo explodes. So they will be getting the kills here. Deus has enough timer to actually live out the final zone. And we will see if Deus, with 2 kills, a lot of mastery, and good items, is enough to kill the Sua that has 5 kills on them. But again, I think in terms of weapon mastery themselves, the 5 kills that Superior has is almost completely irrelevant, because in the end, you don't get more damage for having more kills. Your damage is almost entirely dependent on your weapon mastery, and I think Deus will be using the walls of Chapel to just zone Superior out. This Zone is so hard for melee characters against ranged characters, especially ones like Sacella who have a skill shot that just guarantee your loss unless you can immune it at the right time, and that is the case with Dave's and Superior. I think Superior did manage to immune the first W there, and I almost want to say that Superior is playing for the timer win, but unfortunately, Sicilla has a lot of damage, and I don't know if Superior can actually delay that long. Oh, the stun will land from Davis, but not much damage actually going out. Oh, he will be going to bubbling out the Don. I think that's gone Coyote from Superior, and Superior is really trying to look for a way in. But Girl in the Bubble is on a shorter cooldown, I think. I think it's on a short cooldown after the minor rework it got, where it lost a lot of damage and gained. Oh, lost cooldown. We keep seeing these people trade out their timers, and at this rate, Superior actually will be able to win. Dave's seeing the timer does realize he's under some time pressure because he needs to take down Superior before the final zone goes out. Actually, in about 5 more seconds, Superior can just leave the zone and Davis is almost guaranteed to explode. And yeah, it looks like Superior will be able to do that. He sees the timer and he's just gonna start running away.
He's won. He's got it.
He has won. And Davis, okay, so if you guys don't know, the pull from Wilson actually drops the cooldown by 4 seconds. Actually, won't be able to guess right. So Davis will explode. I believe. Like, does the kill go to Superior in that case?
It does.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so yeah, so Superior ending the game with 8 kills, basically playing the only out you have as a melee and Chapel against a character with as much zone control as Sicella. Honestly, it's impressive to me that a Sua can tank that much punishment from a Sicella. That's kind of weird to me, but congratulations for Superior seeing his basically only out to win that matchup.
I mean, you cannot even fault Superior for winning like that. Chapel in general is like one of the worst. If I have to say, probably actually the worst final zone for a Sua to have to deal with. There are corners literally everywhere. The CCTV is in the worst area possible as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Much, yeah, like fitting your area of dashing through with the donkey out so much more. And yeah, Superior you against Deus's timer, he just had to play for it, and you were absolutely correct. He's just tanking all the damage just wonderfully. And one of the fact of the matter is that he dodged out on a lot of damage from Caltrops. I think that was one of the most signifying thing that allowed Superior to really win out there, since both of the Caltrops that Deus landed, literally nothing actually hit. It was just on the ground zoning Superior. Most of the damage just came from Wilson, but yep, that's just not going to be enough. And looking at the scores, which have been updated, yeah, it's kind of a given at this point that Superior is just completely dominating the lobby right now.
Yeah, and that is super true. For the scores, we have Superior in first place with 40 points. Not that much of a surprise. Man got 8 kills and got first place, so having 40 points is nothing to scoff at, obviously. Second place, we have Deus with 18 points. Third place, we have Absolute Terror with 11 points. Fourth place is Bobo at 10 points. Bobo kind of just staying alive until the end. Is serving him pretty well so far in the tournament. Nine Cash at 5th place with 9 points. 200 MS and Frankie Doodle both going to be tied for 6th place at 8 points. Niku Niku Sushi and Wraith Kira are going to be tied for, I believe, 7th place at 6 points. Another tie for 8th place. I can't keep track of all these places now, but yeah, just another tie. Lily Petal and Trick. Below them is Ghost Electricity at 4 points. Water Fudge at 3 points. Binky, Pie Master, and Roy all at 1 point, and then Jenny and Project Melody at 0 points at the very bottom. So we will see how these really shake out, because there are 5 games. 5 games, a lot can happen. So these scores, these placements don't mean too much unless Superior can keep up his tempo and keep up his momentum and just like continue to place high and continue to score high. And this is kind of where the adaptation that should be mentioned at the beginning of Game 1 really comes into play. We saw how Superior Sua just really dominated a lot of matchups. We saw that, like especially for 200 MS, like 200 MS obviously didn't have the smart bombs actually working, but even if they worked, 200 MS didn't really get to play the game in that matchup, so we'll have to see if he swaps characters. Because again, OTP is allowed, but that doesn't mean you're forced to OTP, and if you have a pocket pick that isn't what you played the first game, and you think it'll serve you much better in Game 2 and going forward, you know, you should probably swap to that, because if Superior continues on Sua, I doubt he's going to play any worse in the next few games, and you might want to swap so that you don't accidentally just have an automatic losing matchup going to the future.
Yeah, you're completely correct. One of the issues that I really will have with Superior swapping over into another character, I mean, the only thing that he is very much well known for other than the Sua is the Emma, actually. So, one of the biggest issues that I would actually have to say in regards to that is the Emma meta has shifted a lot compared to when Superior genuinely played the Emma. So, in the first place, we are going to have to see whether if Superior decides to swap off of that Sua, if he can at least stay consistent, I can see some good things for him. But we said it earlier that there's a lot of players in this lobby that have very heavy density in regards to their kill counts for the past couple of matches that we've seen in these tournaments. And if Superior plays consistent, that's fine. But obviously, he's going to at least want one more where he can go very much so in the lead for the scores. And it's going to be very scary going into game two. But other than that, I mean, I think another thing that we really have to mention, at least for game number one, is that the two rats in this tournament so far, with Frankie Doodle as well as Bobo running for the Bleeder Jackie, as well as the 11 respectively, they did their jobs in game number one, ending third and fourth, even without any kills. They're doing their job, staying alive all the way until the end. And in that kind of situation where you have 0 kills, obviously you're going to be the ones to run out of timer first. I believe, yeah, you start with 30 seconds, you get some kills, you can cap it out at 40 seconds. And when it goes to temporary final zone, you get about 15 seconds more. So if you don't have any kills, about 45 seconds. But both Deus as well as Superior already had kills on their hands. So, the two rats are going to be at a timer disadvantage. But they still handled themselves well, tried to make it so that, at least for Frankie Doodle, get a kill onto Bobo. Didn't exactly happen, and we saw all the things culminating from that. But going into game number two, we can see some character changes already coming out. I think one of the most notable things here might actually be Mizroy swapping over to the Adela as well. He needs to be a bit more aggressive than he was on the Emma. And Bobo will be swapping over to the Pistol ISO as well. Assuming from what he has been playing so far, I'm assuming that is going to be an Elegance and trap build style of ISO. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully Bobo is aware of the fact that Dismantle Goliath disables your traps.
Mhm.
But if I'm hoping he is because I know he is an ISO player, so I'm sure he pays attention to anything ISO related, which is basically just the trap bug. So if he does manage to get the traps to work, we probably will see him do fairly well in the final zone situation because although Sua did manage to just dash through most of the remote mines that 200 MS had placed in his final zone. It changes with ISIL because ISIL has a lot more flexibility when it comes to placing traps down. So
Mhm.
we'll have to see if that changes anything because Bobo is transitioning from one of the in my opinion the best rat character in the game to a character that is known for ratting but is not really as efficient when you're running away from multiple people. 11 has is tied for the highest base movement speed in the game. She has the highest base HP, like very high base armor, and she has every stat that you want and every skill that you want to be a very effective character at running away from people. Like when you have that much natural tankiness, when you have that much natural move speed, when your kit literally has, I think, the furthest movement ability that can be instant casted, you will get out of a lot of situations that no other character will ever have any business getting out from. And so swapping from a character with that amount of safety to ISIL indicates to me that Bobo might want to go for actual kills instead of just being relegated to placements.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case right now. Bobo's actually routing slightly different than what you would normally see in regards to an elegance route. I think you would usually start hospital, go into pond, and then start moving from there. I think elegance should be a two-zone pistol as long as you're able to pick up that leather. But he's actually opting to start from cemetery and slowly moving up towards hospital, going over towards pond very likely soon enough. Uh, okay, well, he's actually still moving down towards the southern side. So maybe, I don't know. I have no clue necessarily what Bobo is planning right now because he does have the feather boots in his inventory, which does kind of signify the elegance. And just to let you know, he isn't running Goliath, so he will actually have his traps doing something, and he's going for the Oblivion Can Wait. So even more to the tankiness stat of this ISO, but you're absolutely correct in regards to the fact of picking the ISO over the 11. You just have so much more versatility when it comes to survivability when you're just running that 11 and running around with the on air. That this ISO pick definitely is a little bit questionable when it comes to the big scheme of things and how Bobo really decides to play out the fight. Project Melody getting poked out a little bit by tricks. This is the good old frailty bonus that you get as the Eva when you just walk around, you land a couple skills, throw them a basic auto attack. That is immediate defense down. But we will really have to see how this goes to show for Bobo. I think he's missing the short rod for the good old elegance upgrade, but he's still prioritizing other things. Not a terrible idea. And everyone else slowly moving around. Mizroy will be sitting in over towards Hotel near the Night 1 checkpoint mark. And everyone else is just kind of running around too. Deus as well as Wraith Kira sitting in Cemetery, not as heavily as populated as in game number 1 for right now. And we're going to have to see how the objectives go through for some of these players in game number 2.
Yeah, and something important to note, I actually didn't realize that we gained a third Sylvia. Binky has swapped off from Dial-In onto Sylvia.
Ooh.
I don't know if we saw Binky play Sylvia in any of the other tournament games. Oh, Absolute Terror losing half his HP to a WQ combo from Trick off screen.
That's not a good sign right now, though, for Trick, because if Suwa wants to... Okay.
God.
Wow, Superior just completely not even respecting the amount of damage that Trick can do, because I think Superior saw that the frailty was already popped from Trick, so he was maybe thinking Trick isn't necessarily going to play aggressive, but this is Trick. If you just kind of let him do damage, he will do the damage. So Superior eating a bit of unnecessary stuff from Trick, and Trick just gets a bit more mastery. Cemetery Tree not being contested at all, which is very, very new for this style of tournament, especially with all these players around. Roy was the one to pick up the Hotel Tree. However, we do have a fight between 200ms and Wraith Kira. 200ms trying to jump the walls, but it's not going to matter because Wraith Kira just gentlemanly dashes all the way over to the Rio and knocks them out. A very early kill compared to game number 1. Frankie Doodle now is going to try to chase down Nico Sushi, but it is a deja vu moment. He just sees the good old Sylvia running away on the bike, and that doesn't really culminate into anything else. But what a great kill from Kira. Even if the wall is an issue, he just decides to, sidestep the wall and dash straight in. So a great kill onto 200ms.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy that he found 200ms so early on the game, but it is night vision. I don't know if 200ms is running Thea, which gives you plus 1.5 meters to night vision, which lets you see so much, by the way. It was more before it got nerfed, but that thing gave you like infinite vision at night. It was actually kind of crazy.
Oh yeah,
but
100%.
Yeah, so I don't know if... Oh, we actually see Nikki Sushi being jumped for a second time in school. Jenny is on top of them. We'll get the Stampede proc, and I repeat the E-auto passive again, but the amount of damage will be enough to take out one of the 3 Sylvias in the lobby, and not a bad start for Jenny. Definitely gonna appreciate that pickup, especially since I think Project Melody did back off, potentially? Actually, Project Melody is forcing the issue. They do have Nightingale, so their build is complete compared to Jenny's build, but they can't really engage because they have not full HP, and Jenny still has the Playdead passive up and available.
Yeah, we're finally seeing a Sylvia actually get punished for using too much of their fuel running away, because up against Jenny, you cannot really run as a Sylvia when you don't have anything else. Oh my god, look at the damage out from Trick, but look at the counter damage up from Wraith Kira. There's the buttons up as well. He's just walking straight through the smoke screen. Holy crap! And there goes Trick being taken down. I believe that was a Q and a crit that actually popped as well. Nina does not want to fight Pie Master whatsoever. There's a charm. Roy will actually take down Absolute Terror. And Nina Cash getting taken down by Pie Master as well. We had 4 players falling. Actually, it was 5 players falling in the eve of night number 1, and it's going to continue on since Binks is getting aggressed on by Wraith Kira. He's going to get stunned up, and there is a second set of auto attacks. Dual Sword exists. That auto attack on the second one will still follow you through even if you run fully away, so that does mean Binky gets taken out very early into day number 2 as well. Now it's a fight between Deus and Waterfudge over towards archery range, and Waterfudge still getting away for now. The Frey at last is not going to do enough damage as Deus is still full HP 2. But still, an explosion of events. Once again, I guess that is still a consistent thing going from game number 1, where we had a little bit of a quiet moment, which lasted for a good 2 or 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden, kaboom! There's fights all across the map, And kudos to Ayumi, she caught most of it.
Yeah, I think the only kill that we didn't miss was Roy on Absolute Terror, but we were watching another fight and another kill happen as it happened, so no fault to her, especially since it's impossible to catch multiple fights
Oh yeah.
with the current way that observation works in Eternal Return. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Nimble Neuron adds that feature at some point because we
Picture
would
in
love,
picture.
yeah, picture in picture in the game lobby because in the game itself, because that would be super helpful for just watching multiple fights go on. But in the end, after all the dust is settled, Kira has 3 kills, which is a really, really good indicator, I guess, just for his tournament showing. Honestly, I'm never convinced that Dual Swords Yuki will win games, even if they're snowballed out of their minds, just because the way Dual Sword Yuki works, you build so much damage and so little tank items or like defensive values that somebody like Sicela, if they catch you once, you kind of just explode. Same thing with Heart. You've seen it happen plenty of times. Kira can be up like 7 kills on Pie Master, but Pie Master lands a charm with Frenzy, and Kira will just go down instantly, right? And, oh, we do see Pie Master trying to engage on Deus here. Oh, okay, so we see Deus getting out of the range of Heart's... Oh, actually another fight going on. Ali can't be talking about that fight, as Water Fudge is going to be the next target for Kira. The auto Q cancel doing so much damage as Kira is rewarded with a solid amount of crits for his troubles, and another kill going up to Kira's name. But as I was trying to say, Deus dipped out of the Heart ultimate range and just threw out his play with us onto Pie Master. The issue with the ultimate for Heart is that everyone moves at a set movement speed, so if you're trying to juke a fast moving projectile, which Cicela's E now is, the play with us now is, it's really hard. So Pie Master kind of set himself up for an easy play with us there and got punished for it as a result. Oh, we see Roy and Jenny having a scrap in Chapel. We'll see if Jenny can actually catch up to Roy. I think the next E will be the Black Tea, which gives Jenny an insane movement speed buff, but will not be able to quite get there. Oh, another fight going on. Project Melly jumping onto Lily Petal, who's trying to snipe off Bobo in the corner. The Vault will, or I guess that's a Soar for Rio, will put them over into a much better position. And Project Melody doesn't have fuel to quite bike all the way, I believe, but they will be using it just for the distance closing. We'll go into the bush. We'll see Lily Petal actually gets it to the cube correctly, so we'll be rewarded with some extra damage. And Bobo is kind of looking in the back, trying to see if he gets the kill. Oh, and the MOK will snipe the kill out. Bobo being rewarded for his ISO pick already with plus point. And Kira is jumping onto Project Melody. And we'll see if Project Melody can actually get away. No fuel means that bike isn't going to be an escape option, but the tire will land, knocking Kira very, very far away, as Jenny will be seeing the Sylvia once again. The carpet comes out, blasts Project Melody into the spectator screen. And wow, a lot of action again. Can we? Okay, so I wasn't here for yesterday. Did you edit the script that I wrote for finals, because there are way too many fights happening?
There absolutely is, and so unfortunate for Project Melody because they missed out on the kill that they've been chasing for so long just for Bobo to pick it up. So you're really, really correct. This rat style of gameplay should not really net Bobo any kills, and it completely shifts around how we would expect this game to go because now that he has a kill, guess what? He gets a little bit more timer added to his name, and as that goes further and further into the game, it's going to be a little bit troubling for some of these other players who really cannot deal with the amount of ratting potential that this ISO has. Oh my goodness, I feel absolutely horrible for Project Melody. They tried so hard picking up the kill onto Lily Petal as soon as their fight with Bobo ended, but then it just culminates to nothing and they die for it as well. Like, that is just so depressing.
Yeah, they went. I think they ran to like 4 different people, all in dock, which must have been super surprising. Oh, we see Bobo actually getting jumped by Deus. The camera will point out Bobo's location to Deus, but looks like Bobo will be able to get out with the high versatility that ISO brings. I actually just noticed that Bobo's build is a ton of spell reduction, so that's the reason why he didn't take nearly as much damage as you would expect from a fairly fed Deus. Kira, once again, looking for another person to murder. Oh, accidentally autoing the bear at some point. Either it was the Dashing Gentleman or an auto attack that got the stun on top of him, and they'll be fighting over the meteor. I'm actually surprised that Kira wants the meteor so bad, considering that he doesn't have Pegasus prepared, he doesn't have a tree to upgrade to Force Core, but I think he just wants the kill because he knows that there's going to be people to take down around the meteor, and that is what Roy's doing right now. So we'll see if Kira, with his massive lead, is able to take down Roy. But Adela is a character that can do a lot of damage really quickly. But with the recent melee HP buffs, I'm not so sure if even Yuki is a character that Adela can burst down with the recent pawn nerfs that she received, I think, 2 major patches ago.
And now with the Night Fork being down as well, Kira is confident enough to start fighting this out. Roy does have the Queen fully stacked up, but Gentleman's Dash straight onto onto Roy. Yep, and Kira just backs off immediately as soon as he knows that Queen is in play. It is down again. But this does mean that, the Night Fork rotation should still be available. Kira still dashes in. Dashing Gentleman will, as a matter of fact, miss, but he still has all of his cufflinks and the button up, even if it doesn't reduce that much cooldown on your Gentleman's Dash anymore. It still gives you all the cufflinks in the world, and Kira is playing so aggressively with that. Look at the double attack range coming into play for this Yuki here. Frailty will get popped from Roy, but he is taken so low from the amount of enclave that Kira is putting out that he just has to back off and give up on this meteorite. An unfortunate situation for Roy because he is missing out on that force core that would have very much been nice for this Adela to have going towards the latter portions of the game. But that was just a good sequence of events that Kira's pretty much set up on his own, and everyone else being distracted means that Deus should be able to completely take this Wickling for free, not spelling any good news for the remaining players in the lobby either.
Frankie Doodle is hiding in the between the buses. Pretty funny, but yeah, every other character, I don't know if every other player knew that Wicklow was being taken or just forgot about the spawn, but they really do not want to engage into this Acela. I just think that the amount of power and respect that Deus commands in a lobby while he was still alive really just shows how, I guess, like, good of a pilot he is, as well as how strong a character Acela is at the same time, because Deus is one of the main Acela players that consistently shows up to tournament lobbies. When he balls to play, Parallax also does show up a lot as well. But we do see Deus as kind of the premier Acela player because he's always qualifying, he's always doing well, he's always a force to be reckoned with, unless he's getting ratioed or one shot by a dial in. But yeah, we just see, like, whenever Deus is in the lobby, I feel like Wicklow never gets contested unless it's Binky on dial-in trying to flip it in order to get his late game win condition, or just another player who really, really, really needs the Wicklin to win. And not a lot of characters, I guess not all players feel like they require that Wicklin to close the lobby, or it's either that or they feel like it's not worth risking their lives against Deus to get that Wicklin. So yeah, oh, Bobo will be going down. The rematch between the two will not be going into Bobo's favor. Wicklin probably shredding a lot of the HP. Oh, and you're getting almost all of his HP bar taken out by the carpet and Stampede autos. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy how much a lobby gets warped just by the presence of a player just, like, commanding that respect and everyone being aware of how their matchups against that character goes specifically. Oh, we do see Kira going again for the engagement onto Jenny. Will get charmed, but oh my gosh, the Diamond Shard will be mitigating so much damage from the Jenny, because Jenny doesn't actually have that much pure damage through extra skill damage in their kit. It's almost entirely a massive amount of spell damage, so Diamond Shard doing a lot more in regards to mitigation than most people would expect there, as Jenny has to back off and let Kira rest up for another fight. Pretty crazy.
Okay, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Going into day number 4 as well, we do have Laurel Wreath being one of the legendary box drops over towards school. And Wraith, Kira, and Jenny, they're still duking it out over towards Forest, but Kira wants absolutely none of it. Although the frailty has popped, Kira still wants to continue going in on this. That is going to be play dead being popped from Jenny. He does see where Jenny is going thanks to that telephoto that Jenny does not see from the bush. And there's the Jashing Gentleman to knock down Jenny, so Kira will walk on top of Jenny for that fight. 5 kills under his name. He's going to be able to heal himself back up with the wolves, and he needs to walk out of Forest. He's been getting pushed around a little bit too much by that Jenny, but still takes the revenge. Who cares if you get poked out all the time? The end result is what matters. Now slowly walking up towards school should be Kira, where he will most likely see Roy. Just kind of chilling around that area too, looking for animals. I would have to say at this point, there's nothing on the map that really constitutes Roy for anything that he can do. He is sitting on 2 Tree of Lives, but Adela necessarily doesn't use too much of any of the Samadi items for what it is. and not too many meteorites remaining on the map either means he's just going to be sitting on those couple of items, not really getting anything done with them, but he still has it. That's something.
You know what I think they should do with rapier weapons? I think they should nerf Volticleto to like a really, really, really bad item. And hear me out, remake it, but you have to use glacial ice or some hottie fire.
Volticleto?
Yeah, just like do the same thing they did with the frost petal glove, and nerf it to the ground, but release the exact same thing and call it an upgrade.
For Volticleto, though, you want to put Volticleto as a glacial or Samadhi item?
I guess you could say Red Panther. I guess Red Panther can be the glacial item, and then just say like Volticleto or Durandal for the other version. I think that'd be a good idea, right?
It could be, but okay, well, not a good situation for Roy at the moment. He's going to actually have to blow the checkmate, and Ghost sees that as well, so he's just going to go completely aggressive. Free at last also going down as well. Look at the damage output onto Roy. He's going to get stuck, and he's going to get taken out. It is going to be Deus with the count drops and Wilson cleaning out Roy over towards Alley. And as we see the final zone, I believe it is going to be Temple. Yep, there it is. Everyone is not in that zone, and now they're all going to be playing around Alley and School, looking for items that they can still take into the latter portions of the game. Frankie Doodle still sitting with 0 kills under his name, will be struggling in regards to the timer aspect of Final Zone, but he's still sitting around. He's still looking for opportunities, while Ghost as well as Deus still trying to figure out where they are. Superior does find Frankie Doodle. Is he going to try aggressing on this? He will. Still misses out on the initial Q. He's going to use the Donkey to try continue chasing onto this. He even uses the ultimate memory being invested to try to chase down this Rat Jackie. And Superior knows that it is going to be a little bit of a waste of time, but he's still walking down to all the remaining players of the lobby at the moment. Superior is not in a good situation. You can Donkey out all you want, but there's players all over the place right now. 17 seconds remaining on this Eva, on the Sua as well. Superior is not looking to be in a good spot going into Final Zone. Still, Ghost Electricity, Wraith Kira, as well as Deus, still trying their best to manage control of this main area. 30 seconds remaining until these players have to walk into Temple. Superior will start making his way up, knowing that there's way too many people over towards the Hyperloop, and he's just going to walk his way up there. Wraith Kira now trying their best to fight it out against Superior, but Superior lands a good rotation of skills. He will miss that second Q, though. Okay, Kira's still getting taken down extremely low. Hammer skill will reduce your defense for a good amount of time. Kira's getting taken down extremely low. Legion Halo will be what's in that legendary box. Superior is not even going to try checking it because he knows he needs to get out of there. Kira, however, is still trailing. 50 seconds remaining on his timer. Will skimp out on the Elysian Halo once again. Pendulum Axe being taken down for Kira. Telephoto goes down as well. Superior will be the one to pick up the Sanguine, but now he's going to get jumped on over by Kira, and there we go. There's the Q, but it doesn't really do anything. Kira still doing their best to take Superior down. This could be the revenge kill. There's the shield going down as well, but is it going to be anything? Yes, it is. The dog heal will miss, and Kira takes down Superior as a revenge kill for game number 1. Ghost Electricity trying to take advantage of that situation, but not really going to result in anything. 5 Omens will hit Frankie Doodle once, and the rest goes on over towards the Bears. So an unused and pretty unimpacting 5 Omen there for Ghost Electricity, being down on cooldown for about 40 seconds starting from now. Kira, on the other hand, though, 6 kills. He has the flaming effect to his name under their in-game name above their health bar, and he is going to be on an absolute roll. But you're right, at this point, this is kind of where Yuki starts falling off, right? You don't necessarily expect this dual sword Yuki to really result in a win, but he still has sole control of that one zone. Ghost Electricity struggling in regards to time. Does he have enough at this point to take out Deus? He does not, and that is going to be a kill going towards Deus. The first Leaping Strike is not going to be enough from Frankie Doodle to take down that Hedge, and now the only option he really has is against Deus. Frankie Doodle will try going in. Wraith Kira is actually going to jump onto Deus instead. Okay, Frankie Doodle can stay alive from this. He still has enough timer to run to the other side as well. Kira's just going completely all in onto Deus, and he's going to be able to pick that up. Yes, he is. Dashing Gentleman, there we go, and this should be the game pretty much set in stone for Wraith Kira. Dashing Gentleman, dual sword, everything against Frankie Doodle not going in his favor for this matchup, and he understands this. He's just going to go jump in onto Wraith Kira. The damage difference between these two are absolutely massive, and that should be Frankie Doodle being taken down. Leaping Strikes over the wall, but he knows that he is done and out. A clean out with the coup de grace will net Wraith Kira a game number 2 victory. with 8 kills, similarly to Superior in game number 1.
Yeah, fantastic showing by Kira there. I voiced my concerns about DS Yuki being unable to close out games, but Kira has mentioned that Jackie is one of DS Yuki's like most favored matchups in the game. And so Kira just ran right in, saw the fight between Deus and Frankie, and just thought, I'll take the risk. I'll run right into Deus and just hope that some cooldowns are burned during the time where I couldn't see this fight happen. And he got rewarded. He managed to take down Deus at the very end there and took the game in the end. Kind of very well played in my opinion. Just I feel like I feel like Kira got pretty lucky there because he got so many back-to-back-to-back 1v1s
Mhm.
where I think the main issue with DS Yuki is that he can't really take like back-to-back fights like that are immediately one after another against multiple range characters. I think I guess that's a problem for most melee characters, so I can't really attribute it to just being a DS Yuki issue. But the way I usually see Kira go down is if he gets comboed by somebody with better burst, or if he gets like if someone else jumps on his fight after his while his current fight's going on, he's the one that gets selected out and taken down. But that didn't happen that game. He managed to get all of his fights on his terms. I don't think there's a single fight that Kira got besides the one that Jenny nearly killed him in that he didn't choose or want. So good showing, good decision making by him, and honestly, just like good timing on all of his fights.
hmm And one of the biggest issues that a lot of players in Return or Return have in the first place, anyways, is the third party. And Kira just pretty much dodged every single one of that, whether it was from sheer luck or information. Hey, luck is a skill, right? So you can just walk away from it completely fine and dandy. And Kira, a lot of the fights that he was actually in, especially towards the latter portions of the game, was a little bit difficult for a DS Yuki to handle. Like you saw, the fight against Superior was extremely close. Also, although in regards to weapon mastery, I would have to say Kira was definitely ahead because of how many fights he's had, as well as how many kills he's had in the first place. But it was still a very close fight, and Wraith Kira dodging out a lot of the skills when it actually mattered in the death-to-death fight against Superior. He is able to knock down that Suwa and start rampaging his way against both the Cecilia as well as the Jackie in the final couple of zones. It just wonderful gameplay from the Yuki, getting completely tear gapped is some of these players as well, right? Because B tier, by the way, for Yuki, according to some players in Eternal Return. But yeah, that was just still spectacular skills, and I really have to say that Kira rounded out that game pretty much exactly how we wanted to. Got a good amount of kills, and the scores are available, and we can pretty much see what the results of that is. And I can go over them. Let's see here. All
Offering
right.
yourself, I see.
I know, right? Okay. So surprisingly enough, it's actually going to be Bink sitting in very last place with 2 points. Project Melody right above with 3 points. And we have a three-way tie, seems like, between Trick, Water Fudge, and Nico Nico Sushi with 6 points on their end. Pie Master 7 sitting at a comfortable 7 points for himself. A tie between Lily Petal and 200MS sitting at 8 points for themselves. Roy for 9. 9 Cash will be sitting at 10. 11 for Jenny. 12 for both Ghostly Electricity and Absolute Terror. 18 on the hands of Bobo. Frankie Doodle doing wonderful with 20 points as a rat himself. Dave sitting at 40. Wraith Kira sitting at 46. And Superior now getting a little bit pressured. Still sitting in first place, but the gap has been closed, and he needs to work really, really hard in the next couple of games to get that point lead even further ahead.
Yeah, top three placements are all still very, very close between Superior, Wraith Kira, and Deus, and it's important to note that as we've seen between Superior, as we've seen with Kira, that you need one really solid pop off game to just really vault yourself ahead of the competition. So even Frankie Doodle, even Bobo, like if I guess they're both playing very ratty styles, but if somehow Frankie Doodle or Bobo manage to find a pop off game, just by the will of God or something. Whatever, like they have like a pocket pick that's super aggressive that no one expects, and they manage to get a 7 kill game. Suddenly, they're gonna be the ones that are ahead of everybody else. And honestly, like even anybody that's below, like we saw Superior gain, I think nearly 40 points in one game. That means that if Binky, Project Melody, Trick, if they get a really solid pop off game with like 7 kills first place, they are still very well in contention for top three placements, and there's still 3 games left.
You're absolutely correct. And I said this yesterday, but after games 1 and 2 not really going well for Binky, oh, he's pissed. Oh, he's pissed. He is pulling out all the stops. He is going back to the dial-in. And for game number one, he actually went the nunchuck route where you don't go amplification, but he saw the power of it yesterday. So he definitely could be going that route. Now, I'm not going to necessarily say he will be, but it is an option under Binks's belt if you really choose to do so. And I've been experimenting here and there too, because we know Binks for being like this really good glove player for Lee Dai-Lin. And you know, Frenzy is not that bad because glove skill got changed, so you have a little bit more accessibility on when you want to pop it. There's a lot of avenues for Binks to really go if he wants to do so, but we don't see anybody starting in school, so I'm gonna, just knock the whole entire glove talk out of the park since that is kind of like the main build where you go, the White Claw punch build starting in school, forest, and then hotel dock. And he's not starting there, so most likely we'll be starting towards the hospital side of things, where there are about 4 or 5 players in that area, and everything else still seems to be pretty consistent with what we would expect. Not seeing any all of a sudden bring out some random character to just surprise everybody, and everything seems to be pretty consistent. But another person that we really have to look out for is Pie Master, because he has not been doing well this tournament so far, which is surprising.
Yeah, I think I almost wonder, well, we haven't really seen Pie Master except for one. Oh no, it's only been 2 games. So for one fight, I believe Absolute Terror in game one took him out.
Hmm.
And then in game two, obviously, we saw Deus take Pie Master out with the with the really good play when he walked out of the dance range and play with us Pie Master into death. So we'll have to see if Pie Master could get, I guess, a few more favored matchups or just even snowball in general. Because we know that Pie Master is a player that is good enough to know how to snowball. He is a player that's good enough to really to skyrocket ahead when the game or when the lobby allows him to, and it's kind of uncharacteristic in my opinion for Pie Master to go down as early as he did in both those games. So we'll see if he tones back his aggression or willingness to run up to people, and if he begins to just like play a little bit more quietly.
Yeah, that is very true. Being sitting right now in his inventory with the laser pointer as well, will more or less be going for the motorcycle helmet. I've seen some options going for vigilante as well, but that is what he's going to stick with. Full inventory obviously means he's going to fall right behind 200 ms. Not a good sign for him, but he'll still be able to pull through. It is still Binky on the lead island, so he should still get some stuff done going towards the latter portions. And Ghost Electricity will be running most likely the Azure Dagger, looking at his inventory for his end. 200 MS sitting on the good old crossbow that gives you some ENAD. He's going to be doing pretty well for himself too, and that seems to be pretty consistent for all of these players on the map at the moment. They got their items going. They're going to continue to move along. Didn't seem like 5 people hospital was necessarily a bad start for everybody else, since they were still able to get most of the items they needed, and they're just going to slowly chug along. The biggest action should start popping very soon as we go in towards about a minute and a half into day number one, and night one is really where it's going to get interesting, because some of these character pick changes for even like Binky, or even some players maybe like maybe some of these players going back to a character that they really do prefer going, like Roy on the Adela. This is where the tree contestants really become a little bit more spicy, because they're going to be at the right place at the right time. That is just where their builds leads them to. And these fights are going to be pretty fun, because Binky's at full build. Roy's at a very comfortable spot if he's contesting for tree too, and a lot of other players most definitely are not. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I think last game you also pointed out that Cemetery Tree was completely uncontested. I think Ghost ended up picking it up for free.
Mhm.
But this time Binky is here, so I actually don't know why Deus didn't contest Cemetery Tree in game 2 when he did in game 1. But maybe with Binky being present in Cemetery Tree again, Deus will go for that one more time. I wonder if it's just a matchup difference, because I personally feel like in the current state, Dial In does pretty well against the Stella, but maybe Deus thinks otherwise, and that's the reason why he's comfortable to fight it out at Cemetery Tree. And also, to point it out, now that I mention it, Kira is actually also in Cemetery Tree at the time it spawns, but we have not seen him go for it a single time, because I think his build doesn't actually pop off until long after Cemetery Tree has despawned. So we'll be looking if Binky gets the Cemetery Tree contest completely free. Ghost is kind of hovering to see if it's going to be free once again for him. But yeah, we see Dave's lurking in the corner. I don't know if he's actually going to roll up to the tree, and Binky will barely get it in time. So no one's going to fight him for it, probably. Dave's might try and get a cheeky little one-shot on him, but unfortunately for Binky, he will be able to get basically scot-free as he runs around, probably looking for the finishing materials for the motorcycle helm. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And at this point, he has a lot of items going up into alley as well. Blazing Dress is definitely up on the book. Cerberus, I saw the extra scrap metal in his inventory as well. So in regards to his pace for game number 1, it's for game number 3, I'm sorry, he's doing perfectly fine, and it's going to come down to him to start contesting for objectives latter portions of the game. Nine does have the Claymore Meteor, and you already know how that is going to be the case. He's just going to get pushed away by 200 MS using the ultimate. Saw the amplification, we saw the healing drone coming out towards the end there for that Rio Project Melody having to run away from Water Fudge, will not be able to land that whip skill. So once again, a Sylvia does get away. Ghostly Electricity now trying to fight out Jenny towards the bottom side. In Uptown, they do not have their passive stacks whatsoever. So Jenny does need to run away from this. Yeah, it's going to get depleted completely. So Jenny does not want to go anywhere near that Hedgen for the time being. They're going to heal themselves back up. Maybe try to contest it again if they really require anything specific. And here we go. The next objective is going to pop out in the map in about a minute. It's going to be Alpha that's going to get contested by a lot of these players as well. And it will be spawning in Uptown. Okay, so there's a lot of players there. That will be an objective that these players really do want to contest for. Mizroy, however, jumping onto Water Fudge. Here is Frankie Doodle coming in, jumping in with the good old chainsaw murder. Okay, here we go. Oh no, it's not going to work out for Frankie Doodle because Water Fudge got a little bit farther away. The pop of that skill is not going to be enough for him to pick up that kill. It will go over to Mizroy, but Frankie Doodle is still hungry for this kill. Checkmate, however, is still available from Mizroy. Has Frankie Doodle bitten off more than he can chew. He is still on the run. The Nightfork will knock up Frankie Doodle. He is still healing up. Still healing up with the Mocha Bread. He will use the Leaping Strike to jump away. Mizroy is still on the chase for this as well, but the acceleration influx perimeter should hypothetically call this off, and it does. So Frankie Doodle gets away, and Mizroy still walks away with a kill.
Oh, is that what it's called? The acceleration influx perimeter?
Yeah, that's what the AIP is.
Okay. I feel like I've been calling like so many different things, and you've been pretty consistent with calling it AIP. But I was thinking,
I like the name.
What? Do I ask Shuvi what AIP stands for? Because I don't know what he's talking about whenever he says it.
I like the name, dude.
Yeah, it's a really cool name. I just like acceleration zones, like zoom gates. You know, I should have really thought. I like never bothered looking up what it actually meant. But yeah, that's a +1 to my knowledge about the game. But like you mentioned earlier, Uptown is going to be very popular for all the people that want a piece of that myth roll. I feel like Dace is probably just here for the weapon mastery that you'll get from buying all the players that are roaming in. I'm actually surprised that Pie Master is not one of the players that is going for Alpha, because one of the best power spikes for Heart is actually Mythical Quiver. But now I think about it, he might be playing Teen Spirit, so he might not need it. We see Superior here finishing out Mithril and gonna be getting a Mythical Helm with that, most likely.
I think Pie Master has only been playing Teen Spirit, which is kind of interesting because you would a lot of times, you know, see a lot of Hearts just going for the satisfaction first and then transitioning into the Teen Spirit. That has been pretty much standard, I feel like, for everyone but Pie Master, and in the end, it still works out for him. He hits his power spike extremely early, and as long as he gets the levels and all the stats that he needs to just complement that Teen Spirit, it's perfectly fine. But that does mean he slowly but surely falls behind on weapon levels, if you know, for not building satisfaction entirely. There's a fight. Okay, Absolute Terror did actually get hit by the Queen. We can see the damage output from Roy. Absolute Terror is just going to give up on that one and give the kill over to this Adela. This Adela pick is definitely working out for Roy in game number 2. He is getting all the kills he needs. Nico Sushi just barely gets away from Kira. Dobo is not going to give him enough range to hit that motorcycling Sylvia away to that Yuki. And Lily Petal getting a little bit damaged up as well, playing the Hedgen this time around. Game 1 was Nadine, game 2 was the Rio, and now they're going to loop around over towards the Hedgen instead. And every build that Lily Petal has gone so far is all crit. They're going to stick onto the Jeeps for this one and still move around, but not finding that much success with these crit builds at all.
Yeah, Lily Puddle has basically played every single bow character at this point, just the same build but different characters, which is pretty funny. Obviously this time we see Hedjin. I think first game was Nadine, second game was Rio, and we'll see if after all of these 3 games we see if Lily Puddle chooses a bow character to settle on. Oh, we do see Ghost Electricity jumping onto Frankie Doodle up in Avenue, and he does land most of his combo. The Caltrops will be, I think only 2 Caltrops went off, so not much damage going out in the end, and we see the back end of Project Melody running away from Binky with the Blazing Dress, as you mentioned earlier, in Alley. So not a lot of snowballing happening for any player except for Roy in this lobby. Daves is trying his best to push everybody off tree as far as possible before he actually starts to take it, because he really does not want to be jumped by multiple characters while he is vulnerable in the middle of tree taking. But oh, we do see Nine Cash actually landing his E for once. He's gonna be popping the ultimate as the root lands as well. He's gonna be going for the last hit there, but the girl in the bubble does block the rapier skill, and the execution does take Deus out from what seemed to be almost a third of his HP left. So yeah, we
That
see a
was
Bobo.
actually, I don't know. That was actually no. There's no way he's getting this. I'm not even talking about this one. That was actually a really good outplay, I think, from Nine because one of the biggest things, especially in the Scylla versus the Chiara matchup, especially with the crit Chiara out, is that you gotta wait for the the Last Judgment to pop up, and that's what you want to bubble. So you're looking for any kind of indicators that the Last Judgment is going to be coming out, but instead, Nine actually completely mind games Deus there and uses the rapier skill instead. And when you use a rapier skill, you kind of like duck a little bit. It's similar to the animation a little bit. I'm being very generous here, but the animation is somewhat similar to what would happen if you use Last Judgment, and you saw that Deus actually tried using the bubble against the Rapier Seal too, which opened up the viability for Nine to finish it off with the Last Judgment, and that is exactly what happened. So a good fight from Nine there, completely mind gaming Deus to keep himself alive and pick up the tree for himself as well. And he's going to just completely go on the offensive in game number 3.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I think it's definitely something that I think it's almost impossible to, on reaction, like to be able to process what exactly is being pressed and then press your invincibility frame in time. I think Deus was probably just looking for any indication that Nana was flying at him at Mach speed, and like you said, just was mashing the button as soon as he saw it. And fortunately enough, as you said, Nine gamble won, and he managed to execute Deus to the very end, because we all know Deus is going to be watching out for the most important abilities to grow in the bubble. But that time, unfortunately, I think he was just under too much pressure and needed to iframe the next gap closer that was coming out, and then I played it really well. Oh. Actually, the hammer skill whipping on Ghost Electricity at the end there. I don't think Ghost actually gets out because the I don't remember what the W is called, but the W on Superior gives him a CC immunity, which allowed him to jump and chase Ghost. And Ghost will be taking the Charm of the Nomad, and we'll be trying to turn it onto the Sue over here, but we'll completely whip the activation. I'm actually really surprised that Ghost is trying to fight this, just because of how well Sua can navigate through Hedgen's abilities. Oh, nice Caltrops and Fear. Actually, I should probably stop speaking, as Ghost will take down Superior. Really, really well played. Navigating through almost every single bookmark that Superior threw out. I really need to stop predicting things. I keep mispredicting stuff, and just you know, I guess it's a caster curse. I need to look at the script one more time. Actually, it is a script. I pretend that I don't know what's on the script, so that when I cast, it's more exciting. Right, Shubi? That's how it works, right? That's how it works?
Here's the thing, right? When Ghost was actually walking down towards Avenue and he got hit by the Q, I actually thought he was dead, but that good old charm just completely outplaying Superior. That was an incredible outplay from Ghost, and all kudos to him. That wasn't even Superior's fault. Like, I would have thought that I had that kill easily in hand too. These were now getting jumped on by Trick, and they're just going to cancel over the wall to get themselves away. But yeah, like, I think that was just all on. I think that was just completely all on Ghost being, exceptional in that situation. That wasn't even Superior's fault, man. I feel so bad for him because he should have had the kill onto Ghost since he played everything so well. But that's just one small moment of an outplay resulting in a death. And Mizroy will still get chased down by Trick as well, getting stuck in a corner where he doesn't really have an out except going into the red. And he will get taken out by Trick, so his reign of terror in early game will be ended by the Eva running around with the Frailty. but still the game must go on. We have a lot of people still fighting stuff out. Ghost Electricity seems like looking at the minimap trying to chase down Frankie Doodle at the top side near Temple, but that is a Bleeder Jackie. You're not going to kill that one unless you invest literally everything, and even then it might not be enough. Wickling will get focused down by 99 Cash as well. That is going to be the blood sample as well as the first aid kit going over towards him. Ooh, there is a lot of people waiting on this side of the map, though. Pie Master still waiting. 99 only has about 5 seconds remaining. He is still stuck in the corner, but nobody sees this. Pie Master, the telephoto camera, does not see it either. Okay, here we go. Frankie Doodle now getting jumped on by Ghost Electricity, but remember what I said. It is not an easy matchup for anyone to kill this Rat Jackie early on. Binks now trying their best to stay alive, but the damage output from Wraith Kira will knock them down. Binks is just not having anything going his way whatsoever in these past couple of games. Wraith Kira picks himself up his first kill in game number 3 as well. Wow, he's getting mega pissed.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Binky hasn't swapped to the Amped Island build, because I think the Amped Island build, or at least the hybrid builds that go Virginet, were the ones that people were really like making, I guess, like the community chatter about how broken the island is. But Binky is opting for the much more traditional crit Vibro build. Ghost Electricity will be jumping on the 99 for a brief moment, but I think he probably saw Burgundy and just was like, I am not pressing my ultimate into a character with Burgundy online. But
I think he learned his lesson from Rabbit House's tournament, because he almost had a kill onto 99, but then Burgundy popped and just got insta-killed return.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think I probably mentioned it before. I don't know if I mentioned it on stream before, but Burgundy being in the game is one of the main reasons why I haven't really been trying to practice Hedgen since August came out, really, because I really want to get better at Hedgen, because Hedgen is really fun. I don't know if you've ever played her. But I think her and Dylan are probably the two characters that I enjoy the most. But the moment I saw Burgundy get printed into the game, all my desire to play Hedgen just kind of went down the sink. And we did see at one point, I think during qualifiers, where Ghost was trying to control Wicklin very, very like religiously, just so that no one could get their hands on Burgundy. But just unfortunately with how the game goes, OC Bobo being shot down by 200 MS. But I think Bobo gets away. So not so much to talk about there, but just like needing the pressure to 100% need to flip Wick as Hedgen, just it's so much pressure that I feel like isn't really fun to play with, if that makes sense. Like I appreciate characters that have the flexibility to not be hard countered by somebody else having one item that is guaranteed from a mob that actually gives you a lot as well. Oh, we see 200 MS and 99 Cash fighting in the middle of force. 99 Cash going for the last judgment hit and will take out 200 MS at the very end with the Meteor Claymore auto attack. So 99 Cash starting his snowball with 2 kills. Wicklin serving him very well as he is kind of being surrounded by 2 different players, but I don't think either of them want to jump him at this point. Chiara with Wicklin buff is a little scary, as I'm sure we both had experienced.
This kind of mega sucks right now, though, for 99, because he's sitting on triple Mithril at the moment in his inventory, and he cannot do anything with it. No avenue for, I would have to say, Mithril Helmet or Mithril Shoes, although he is still sitting on the Hermes, so, well, no, actually the Taproots. So I guess Mithril Shoes isn't really what he wants, but he has no avenues to go towards in regards to the Mithril Helmet. He has no avenues to go for Mithril Shield if he really chooses to do so, so kind of in a little bit of a limbo, at least on 99's side. He is still sitting on the Burgundy as well as the Hermes, so he's still good to go there, but a lot of the items in his inventory are going to be going to waste in game number 3. Nico Sushi, well, just try to chase down Frankie Doodle. He's still the rat that we mentioned earlier. Ghost Electricity getting taken down pretty low by Trick. Okay, he's actually going to try going back in. The VF Eruption from Trick is not going to be invested, as they do see the Jenny right behind them. The dash is going to be enough to get them away as Jenny used it to try to initiate. But no, look at this incoming. Oh, it's going to be Ghost with the final auto attack with the Azure Dagger finishing off Trick. An aggressive maneuver from Ghost pays off in the end. 2 of the 5 omens did hit, as a matter of fact, onto Trick, and that just gives him barely enough damage with that final auto attack, and Trick unfortunately gets mega ping gap. Frankie Doodle will get taken down here with a wonderful charm from Pie Master as well. And look at the state of this map. We have archery range as the final temporary zone as well. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. 9 players remaining. Bobo will also get taken down here, most likely by Project Melody. And that is all the rats gone from this game already. So So Project Melody finishing off the rat sequence in game number 3. Bobo and Frankie Doodle getting taken down. Nico Sushi now wants a piece of the pie as they try to take down Denny, but Play Dead is available, and Nico Sushi knows they need to run because of the health regeneration from that skill, and they will stay safe. But Jenny is in a little bit of a precarious spot now going into Final Zone.
Yeah, and I want to point out that there's only one true melee character left in this lobby. Well, Nine Cash is playing Kiara, and Kiara usually is a melee character, but for, I guess, like, Chara's not, as a lot of Chara players will say, Chara is not a character without her ultimate. So if you're not a character without her ultimate, then Chara's actually just a ranged character, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, we'll just go with that, especially with the way
that
Nine plays her, man.
Yeah, so there's only one melee character left, and with 8 players left, maybe this time we'll see the issue that I point out with DS Yuki in the beginning, where it's really easy to get third-partied and selected. Oh, Nikin Sushi finally taking out Jenny off in the corner, burning the Play Dead passive, really making it hard for Jenny to get back into the zone. We have Kira taking so much timer, and he's being gatekept by 2 separate ranged characters. That is not a position you want to be in as a melee character, and he really cannot get in. Yeah, he's gonna run into the end of arch range, and probably gatekept by another one, Project Melody now on the receiving end of being gatekept. You're gonna be jumping in onto Lily Petal, will be taking the guillotine to the face, and unfortunately, I think Project Melody will be going down here. Oh, actually. Oh, new timer from Final Zone ticking. We'll be saving Project Melody just a little bit, but they have to go really far distance in order to catch up, and Lily Petal will not be letting Project Melody rest up here as they do a full bite combo. But Kira gonna be trying to get a refresh on his timer, will be taking the last hit as another Sylvia player will be running in from the other end. Magic Trick, one Sylvia player goes down, the other one pops right back up. But Nikin Sushi going to be letting Kira go as they jump onto Lily Petal. Lily Petal not taking the no bad, will be juking out Nikin Sushi as her timer goes ever and lower. And now Nine Cash, the ranged Kiara player, will be pushing Kira back out of the zone, taking even more red as Ghost Electricity and Pie Master are running. Oh my gosh, the Omens almost all missing at the very end there. Ghost Electricity won't be able to get the Omens into Pie Master's face because they're all at that same movement speed. And Nikinuku Sushi will be the one who rolls in. Nine Cash getting the last hit on someone over on the other end we can't see. But Ghost actually is the one taking out Pie Master. Oh my gosh, so much action happening at the very end with Nikinuku Sushi actually unable to last hit either Ghost and either Pie Master at the end as a trap kills Kira because he couldn't dodge it because he didn't have Dashing Gentleman and no timer left to get out of the radius in time. So we have 3 ranged characters left as Nine Cash popped his ranged character status. We'll be jumping onto Nikinushi. The root is landing and the auto attacks are flying out as the last judgment will come out and execute Nikinushi. And unfortunately, Nine Cash is no longer a ranged character, but it is Ghost Electricity versus Nine Cash. Nine Cash does have enough timer to outlive the Final Zone reset, and oh my god, that was a really chaotic temporary zone setup that we just had.
Dude, I thought I was seeing a deja vu moment because there was a tournament a long time ago that I saw Nine Cash accidentally pressing his ultimate in this exact scenario, being stuck in the temporary final zones. He just popped Plague because he said, well, I talked to him afterwards, he said he was on accident. And he just popped it because he got nervous or something like that, and then he literally just didn't do anything with the Plague, and he died because of it. I thought that was gonna happen again, but thanks to the contribution of the Sylvia, they're gonna be able to get that off. The Plague will go off. Ghosty Electricity has to run, and this is looking pretty good, at least on Ghosty Electricity side. He still has 40 seconds remaining. Nine Cash, obviously, very little timer with all the prospects that he had over towards the top right section of the map. Now it's going to be Nine going up against Ghosty Electricity, but he has no Plague, and that will be Nine being taken down. Ghosty Electricity playing perfectly around the timers of the ultimates of other players will walk away with game number 3 victory under his hands. 4 kills will be going over to him as well, and just a great outplay with that charm over the wall, making sure that the Plague from Nine has absolutely no results. That does net him the kill. So wonderful things from Ghost.
Yeah, and something super important for that fight. I think I don't know if Burgundy 47 was on cooldown for that kill, but Ghost managed to kill Nine before, or I guess like before Burgundy 47 came back up, which is super important because if Burgundy 47 had activated it in the middle of Ghost Electricity jumping into Nine, he would have gotten his empowered auto attack off with I think 70% lifesteal. and then that's further boosted by Taproots, and then further boosted by Burgundy 47's healing increase. So somebody else had procced Nine Eyes Burgundy 47 before the final zone went off, which is a huge, huge benefit for Ghost, because I think without that happening, Ghost would have lost that fight at the very end there. He was probably just praying that I was down, honestly. That's what that felt like.
100%. And in the end, the whole survivability purpose of the Burgundy, that the whole thing, the entire thing, where you get a shield, where you get cleansed of debuffs, where you get well, for some reason it still has the tenacity thing written on as the passive, although it's 0% now. I'm just reading this now. Like you can hover over Burgundy and it still says it grants a 250 plus 10 shield with 0% tenacity.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I guess they couldn't be bothered to remove it from the tooltip. That's what
Yeah,
it sounds like.
and you don't.
But
So you also miss out on the attack power and the healing recovery, which really sucks too. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, oh yeah, I was just gonna interrupt you because the scores were up, but we can talk
Yeah.
about that right after I go through the scores. In number one place, in first place we have Kira with 60 points. Number two, oh my gosh, why am I saying number two? In second place we have Superior with 49 points. In third place we have Deus with 41 points. 1 point below him is a Ghost with 40 points. Fourth place, fifth place is Nana Cash with 37 points. Sixth place is Frankie Doodle with 23 points. Seventh place is Bobo with 21 points. Then we have Niku Niku Sushi with 19, Pie Master with 18, a tie between Jenny and Mizroy with 16 points, Lily Petal with 13 points, a tie between Absolute Terror and Trick at 12 points, 200 MS and Project Melody both with 11 points, Waterfudge with 6 points, and Binks with 3 points. So yeah, like you're saying, like a lot of the power of Burgundy 47 is locked behind the shield that activates. And when you look at Burgundy 47 just as an item, it is barely, barely, barely better than Butler's suit. I think it has like +3 basic attack reduction and like maybe a little bit more move speed. I'm actually not even sure what the benefits are, but without the passive being available, you're working with a Butler suit. And Butler suit versus a Hedgent that has all of her items and all of her transition items is kind of useless when you're trying to survive the initial burst to get auto attacks in. So I almost wonder if Nine had access to a mithril armor during that final zone, because if they had the mithril armor and they were able to swap it on while Burgundy 47 was taking his cooldown back on, I feel like that the fight would have gone way better. But unfortunately, I guess that option wasn't available for Nine Eyes, so kind of getting punished for not having the, I guess, a better offhand or alternate armor at the very end there. I wonder if
Yeah.
that fight would have been different with it on.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, man, it's so unfortunate because thinking that you have the Burgundy and we saw Nine Eye sitting with the three Mithril in his inventory when it was, I think it was still when Ali was still closing up, so he still had a little bit more time to work with. He had access to steel chains, obviously with Ali, but nowhere else on the map that had hats, or even the tights was available. So nothing available in regards to that aspect. I don't think there was any water available either on the map too. So very bad situation for Nine to be sitting with, even with three Mithril in your inventory, which is like the dream of other people. You can't do anything with it, so they're just kind of sitting in your inventory, a little bit of a dead weight situation. And if you have the Burgundy, most of the time you won't really build the Mithril armor too, because you're relying on that Burgundy to stay alive. But maybe he had it, maybe he didn't. In either way, he got completely mind gamed. Ghost electricity, forcing Nine to pop the plague as well and just jumping over the wall. I don't think Mithril armor is gonna save you from that one, buddy, and just gets taken out because he doesn't have the one thing he actually needs to take out that Hedgen, which is actual range. And oh, okay, Mister, I accidentally picked Shoichi Waterfudge. Is this gonna happen again? Version 2.0.
That would be pretty funny. We'll have to see. We do see a lot of character changes in this lobby. We have Bobo on Chiara. We have Waterfudge on Shoichi. We have Lily Petal swapping to Nadine. And again, I think we bring this up every now and then for tournaments, but whenever a person picks a new character, it really changes up the tempo and the interactions that we experience in game. I personally don't even know what Waterfudge's routes are. I've seen him play it once, so I don't know where he goes with it. And so if he goes to Cemetery Tree, And I guess Deus is there to contest it, then suddenly there's a Shoichi. And I think Shoichi is actually the main killer of Sisela before Sisela gets all of her items. At least Shoichi was back, I think, a few months ago. I think I remember people were talking about how when Shoichi got blasted out of the meta with his few nerfs, Sisela got way stronger because usually it's Sisela being killed by Shoichi that really dampens Sisela's ability to perform in the game. But now that we have Shurichi, let's see if Deus actually dies early in this game like he did in the previous game. And Waterfudge is going for a factory start, so he will probably be building Mount Slicer. And I think ending in either Pond or Cemetery. So we'll see what he does. I'm not that really well versed with Shoichi, but I'm really excited to see it just because Shoichi is a very, very exciting character to go off on.
Yeah, and it's not like Waterfudge is necessarily bad at Shuichi either. The time that we're bringing up for anyone who doesn't really understand the context to it is one of the games. I think it was actually for this tournament during qualifiers. He accidentally picked Shoichi because he wasn't here when we started the game. So he locked in Shoichi, and he had to deal with the game's prospect going into Shoichi, and he just got 5 kills. He just had He just had 5 kills, saying, "Oh, I accidentally picked Shoichi. I wasn't here." So it's not like he's bad. Getting 5 kills on Shoichi is no easy feat, especially in season 4. Um, so maybe like, he still has something up his sleeve going with this pick as well. This one definitely is not an one's definitely not an accidental pick here because we're this far into the tournament. That one was game number 1. So it's not like we had a continuation going. So we'll really have to see whether or not that Shuichi shifts the tide at this point for this tournament. Inky's sitting up over towards Ali as well, actually pressing onto Pie Master and looking at their little spins. Yep, they're going glove. I knew it because I think I've told you this before too, Brand, that I feel like Glove and Nunchuck is like two different characters for me, at least personally. And
Yeah,
looking
no, for sure. I definitely I can see that because I think I probably described to you before, but Nunchuck has the massive range increase. Oh, Pie Master being jumped on by Bink and Binky, and Binky does have ultimate this time, so we'll be waiting for Pie Master to just like not move, or even just wait for the Q to come back up because Pie Master's losing so much ground by having to constantly stutter step back and forth, and Pie Master not gonna be very happy with that result. Oh,
he's running Buddha Palm. He's going back.
yeah, he's going back to the Buddha Palm glove build that he was really infamous for back in season 2, I believe. I think Binky was almost exclusively running this build up until he swapped over to Nunchuck.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, ever since the what is it? Ever since the whole Bloodwing from Beach Forest Hotel build got a little bit nerfed, especially with Rockers changes, he's definitely preferred the Buddhist Palm route, and I do like this change because we said it earlier in the tournament, especially before it started. It all comes down to flexibility and adjusting to how the games are going. He sees that both the nunchuck route isn't working. He tried the Sylvia, that doesn't work either. So he's just going to go back to his old roots. And he's good at this build. He is extremely good at this build. Another thing that has been happening too, Buddha Palm has not gotten adjusted in the recent patches, like nearly at all. So this build is still the same as he pretty much was used to back in the days, and it's just keeping up his consistency. And I do want to see him doing well on this Buddha Palm build because if it works out, it's like a homage, paying an homage to his olden roots of going the Buddha Palm route, and it'd be really nice to see it work out.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of funny, he built the Ruby there. He's probably going for Shah Jaha because he is pretty far ahead. But it just reminds me that Imperial Crown's recipe was changed from needing a ruby to only a gemstone for the final upgrade. So, yeah, I doubt Binky is a player that would make that mistake. But it just made me laugh because I know that the build usually goes drop near. So just at initial glance, you might think, oh, maybe he messed up the item crafting recipe. But I think he has Imperial Crown selected like manually in that build. So I really doubt that it was yeah,
I
he
mean,
went
there's
straight to
the
Shah Jaha.
yep.
Yep. Yeah, so like you're saying, like nunchuck and glove, especially when Cerberus was first introduced, it was a totally different playstyle that Dylan had before, purely because you had so much extra range that you didn't have before. Unfortunately, that playstyle doesn't really exist anymore because people have both gotten used to it, and Amp is now like the better build in my opinion for Cerberus especially. But when I was first playing it, I could personally tell that a lot of people were not used to how far I was attacking from. Like, people would constantly, like, play skills in melee range of themselves, and then I would attack from, like, 30 feet away, and then they would lose because they burned their important skill super far away. And I think this goes back to like when we first started interacting a lot, when I was trying to tell you that Nunchuck was fine, and it was almost entirely to Cerberus. Oh, we see 9 Cash. Actually, he just finished his meteor claymore. He might be going down here. Roy gonna try last. Oh my god. Kira almost going down to checkmate as well, but a lot of things happened just now as 9 really tries his best to survive, but the checkmate gonna be taking 9 down at the very end there. Waterfudge gonna be walking over, picking up the scraps as he somehow has tree while being very behind on his build. But after all that, Roy is lurking around for the kill on the DS Yuki that was fighting earlier, but I feel like nothing should happen at the end of that.
Oh my
Yeah, it looks
god.
like it's actually
Waterfudge is going
scary.
Mount Slicer.
Oh, nice. Waterfudge is going for the late game scaling item or
Oh my,
dagger.
that is actually hilarious. And you know what's something else? Let this be a lesson to all of you guys in Twitch chat going up against Nadella. Wraith Kira did not eat damage from like the main checkmate at all. Like he just took damage from the 2 pawns that were on the ground. Because, you know, I think the only part of that checkmate that actually hit was onto 9 Cash, and it was just everything else. Ooh. Okay,
That seems like a
Lily
flashback to
Pebble.
game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit earlier into the game. But yeah, do let that be a lesson. Don't stand around in Adella's chess pieces if the checkmate does go out. It's never a good thing to be eating damage from those, since the little ring around the pieces when the checkmate goes through does percentage of your HP damage, so make sure you don't sit on that. It seems like the 5 Omen actually did get canceled out from Project Melody as well, so a good motorcycle usage from that. Ghost Electricity will have 5 Omen down for the next minute or so, since it is pretty early into the game. Very good utility being wasted from the Sylvia down in Uptown. And everyone else still slowly chugging along. Beach as well as Cemetery being closed out. It's going to be Hospital and Factory closing very soon as well. A lot of pivotal locations for some easy transitional items preparation getting taken down. Binky now having to deal with Absolute Terror, not letting him escape as well, but he would just use the Q to get out. Jenny trying their best to fight it out against the Sylvia up in Chapel. There's the motorcycle being invested. Okay, here we go. Project Melody is actually going to use a lot of their utility in regards to their fuel and spend a lot of it getting out as well. So nothing gained from Project Melody over in Chapel, while we have Superior as well as Wraith Kira. Round number 3 between these two players. Superior trying their best. Wraith Kira will be able to finish off Superior 2-1 going over to Kira. And Superior getting taken down over at Chapel 2. So that prospect and that storyline going in favor of Kira throughout the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've seen Diamond Shard kill somebody. I think that's what killed Superior there, which is pretty funny because I've tried to use that augment on Hedgen, and I was I was thinking like, is this thing not doing damage? And then I realized you have to be in actual melee range to get it to pop, which Hedgen really does not want to be in. So it also does super like a very very low amount of damage. I think it's like plus 20 damage per level. So it's something like really pitiful. So the fact that Kira actually got a kill off that, I think he was gonna get a kill with the auto attacks anyways. But just seeing the pop of the Diamond Shard killing somebody is brings a little bit of joy to my heart. Oh, Water Fudge is gonna be 1v1ing Binky here. Oh, actually getting his entire ultimate combo off. Binky forced to burn the ultimate striking tiger outside, and Roy going to be kind of his saving grace as he chooses Water Fudge to third party here. Oh, Roy is trying to bait out the dagger skill from Fudge, but Fudge will probably just run out of cooldowns and SP as Roy just auto attacks him to death with the Meteor Claymore. That sweet, sweet noise that I really, really detest just ringing in my ears as, yep, there he goes again. Chunking everyone's HP every time it comes out, and Binky, after hearing that noise, definitely wants to get out of there as well. Oh, we see Ghost versus Trick. Actually, Ghost guessing wrong. Ghost was in Ghost was actually completely blinded there, so his I don't know what his route is called, but he threw his route in the wrong direction, I think, because he was assuming that Trick would either be where the Caltrops were, or he E'd out to where the route went. We'll just pretend that's what it was, and well, possibly not a misclick.
Calculated.
Yeah, that was all calculated, but yeah, Ghost killing Trick there, bringing out like a pretty big menace for most of the lobby come late game, because Ava is a character who can kind of just 100-0 you from off your screen once she has like 19 weapon mastery later in the game. So everyone probably being the sigh of relief as the long range artillery mage goes down to the other artillery mage in school. So not bad so far.
Yep, absolutely. And I guess Binky staying alive at this point in the game too, for once in this tournament, is a good news for him. We are nearing the 10-minute mark of game number 4. We have a lot of players still remaining on the map. 12 players remaining. That means 6 has been gone down. Now, oh, actually, it's going to be Bobo that's going to pop the Plague. I think they're running a little bit of the tankier route. I did think I saw the Mistletoe in his inventory as well. Yes, it is. He is going with the very, very old days of the tanky char route, using the Amazonist to their benefits as well. So completely stepping their foot on the ground, saying, I'm just going to be completely tanking everything, ratting all the way until the end. Now, Binky's trying to teleport themselves out. I don't necessarily think I saw any good upgrade items in their inventory either. Okay, they do have a Tree of Life as well as a Mithril. They're going to be going towards Hotel. I'm not... Okay, they're actually going to be going for the Imperial Silk Gloves. I forgot that item existed for a bit, but Imperial Silk Gloves will be the upgrade of choice from Binky, looking for the good old Mithril string as well as the gloves, but now he's getting chased down by Wraith Kira. Okay, that is not looking good for Binky. He's just going to jump over the wall. A greatly timed bottoms up as a greatly timed W as well is going to save himself for now, but Kira's still on the chase. He needs to run away from this. He does have the Qs back up, but there are other players in Hotel. He needs to pray that they do not walk up across him, but he's getting stunned up by Kira. He's trying to get himself away from this. There's another stun. There's the autos. I think he gets taken down. Not looking good for him. Game 5 is the only thing he can look forwards to as he lays down corpse on the ground in Hotel. Kudos to Wraith Kira for getting that kill. And oh, not looking good for him at all. Ghost Electricity now getting initiated on by the Sylvia of Project Melody. Will get chased down a little bit. 5 omens actually are pretty much all landing onto Project Melody as well. But Ghost Electricity will just call that off, walking up towards Avenue for themselves. 200 MS and Bobo talking to themselves for a little bit, doing a little bit of a pass-by for each other. And now they're going to walk down towards the border of Forest and Avenue, and they're going to... Are they fighting it out? Okay, yeah, they are. The ultimate from 200 MS did get popped, as a matter of fact, seeing that the healing drone did pop. And everything else just goes quiet, I guess. Omega still is available on the map. It's over towards Alley, but no one necessarily aggressing for it now. Misroy maybe might want to try for it, but it seems like he's just going to teleport out. And he's... Well, Omega just doesn't get contested today, I guess.
Yeah, Omega living a quiet life up in Alley. I think Omega's probably glad that they're not dying to random potential children running around the island. I think Deus is the closest person to take it, and I don't know if he already has Suitor Sana in his inventory, but if Deus doesn't, it might be an idea that he goes for. I don't think it's necessarily important for Deus to get the Suitor Sana in their inventory. Oh, we see 200 MS gonna get Queen Stun and comboed by Roy, the Rook to follow, and the Rapier skill to go through, as Roy knows that Sword's on cooldown, not hitting anybody, but he does back off because I think he heard Jenny in the corner, but he was walking right into Jenny playing Jenny, and Rook once again over the wall. That skill is on such a short cooldown. He rooked like twice in 10 seconds, which is pretty crazy, but yeah, we have Ghost Electricity just hovering near the fight. I think they probably saw the pings going off, and Jenny once again will be pushing Roy deeper into the timer, kind of shaving off a lot of the resources that Roy was trying to save for Final Zone. Oh, but another Night Fort coming out. Jenny doesn't have enough passive stacks, and we'll go down to the auto. Oh my gosh. Jenny had like 2 or 3 more rehearsal stacks in order to get the passive off, but couldn't quite get it because I don't think the carpet was able to be recasted in time. But we see Project Melody jumping onto Bobo here. Bobo gonna be fighting back this time. Oh, there he was taking Wicklin. But I don't know if Bobo can actually kill Project Melody. Sylvia versus Chiara seems to be a very one-sided matchup, because once Chiara pops play, you can just kind of walk away as Sylvia and wait for it to end out. But we have Roy once again running people down in the exact same spot of Avenue that he's been in for the past 2 minutes. Bobo and Project Melody are both inside Uptown, very deep. I think at this point it might be a suicide pact if Project Melody can't get the finishing hit on Bobo. And we do see Project Melody doesn't have enough fuel left actually to continue to bike away. And so after all of that, Project Melody has no fuel, no timer, and not even a kill to show for all their efforts. And we'll see if Bobo manages to actually walk away fully. Kira sees Roy will be getting the full Rampage off, so he has the Rampage second activation, but Roy using the Rook once again to just hop over a wall. The Hobo is going to be exploding in Research Center, giving Project Melody all the timer that they deserve, and that chase finally ends after like a 2-minute run.
Yeah, still though, Project Melody, obviously 12 seconds is nothing close to enough. I would have to say contesting for the final areas here, which this game will definitely go towards looking at the statistics of the other games. And Kira sitting on the red shoes as well. He is an absolute powerhouse going towards the latter portions, and everybody else in this lobby is also doing extremely well too. Although the one thing I definitely am wondering in regards to Roy's decision is actually going for the Mithril Shield when he has access to the Meteor Claymore. I think Creed definitely increases the amount of efficiency that you get with the Meteor Claymore if you are running the Adela. But in the end, it is still more stats, so maybe Roy definitely thinking that that is much more worth it than going for other things. He's going to try to fight out 200 MS over towards this border of archery range and school, but no one's really landing anything except for autos, and yeah, this should just be a back and forth interaction between Roy and 200 MS, but 200 MS all of a sudden getting a little bit confident with themselves. There is everything being set up, however, and that should be 200 MS going down. 200 MS making a little bit of a mistake, getting too aggressive and greedy for that kill onto Roy, not going to let that pass, and will take down 200 MS in school. But what an absolutely unfortunate situation for 200 MS.
Yeah, 200 MS went into the bush where Roy already had a pawn prepped, and then Roy dropped another pawn, dropped the Knight Fork, and 200 MS lost basically all of his HP to just the pawns and pieces bouncing off each other. They have Ghost Electricity trying to run from Project Melody. A nice root and Caltrop skill will be pinning Project Melody against the wall, but they are level 16, so their bike skill is on a 2-second cooldown. Frankie Doodle will be running at Project Melody, but we've seen this time and time again. I feel like every time Frankie Doodle runs at a Sylvia player, he never ends up getting killed purely because of the tire spam and the bikes. So in the end, Project Melody will be get away. Absolute Terror going to be running away from the B tier character that is DS Yuki, piloted by Kira. And I think one last Dashing Gentleman and Heads Up will be enough to get the kill, but nice dashes from Absolute Terror. Going to be enough to keep him alive as the vault does just make Kira give up in the end. We're getting to another final zone that is potentially 8+ players. We have so many people up in Avenue. I feel like we've seen Dave's up in that corner for like the last 5 minutes of the game. But once again, we have Ghost Electricity just kind of hovering there, trying to see if he can fish any kills. But after all is said and done, only one person goes down after all that action, which was 200 MS. And we'll have to see what the final zone is. Looks like it's going to be archery range once again. The scripts write themselves at this point as Kira jukes out of the Semtex bomb that Absolute Terror drops. Oh, Roy is actually dropping the Queen at Kira instead of Absolute Terror. I think he might have not known Absolute Terror was in that bush just because he flew out at a random moment. And Roy is just fine because Adele's boost speed is quite high when the Queen is prepped. So after all that is said and done, no kills being confirmed once again. And I think we'll be seeing all the players gradually just run themselves towards archery range for another fun interaction where this time we actually have 2 ranged characters in Kira and Frankie Doodle. So maybe the melee Yugen can combat the ranged terrors that are currently in the lobby.
Yeah, but still, Frankie Doodle, even if we really consider him as a melee character at this point, the damage output from that Jack is not nearly going to be enough. Absolute terror, just getting absolutely deleted instead, not really causing any terror on Lumia Island at this point in the game. And that will be another kill going in the hands of Roy. Just a great combination of the Queen, Knight Fork castling into the Rapier skill, and an auto to finish it off. So that will be a Razi going down. So the less and less ranged characters we have in the final zone, the more and more stronger the melee brother band becomes. So Yuki as well as the Jackie of both Kira and Frankie Doodle will definitely be happy about that Razi falling off, as in the end, Razi's a hard matchup for melee characters. But here we go, Project Melody now getting taken down very low by Mizroy. Just a single combination does this much damage onto the Adela as well as the Sylvia. Now he's getting stuck in between Kira as well as Project Melody for himself as well. The Queen will go down, but Kira has his eyes set on this Adela. There's the castling to go out, but there's the button up into the Gentleman's Dash, and that will B, Meesroy getting taken down by Kira. Project Melody picking up the scraps of that fight, but unfortunate for Roy trying to pick up the kill onto Project Melody and will result in them getting killed instead. So now we're down to 6 players remaining. Another ranged character pretty much being taken down. So Kira and Frankie Doodle are definitely ecstatic about that one. Ghosty Electricity getting pushed a little bit in towards the corner, but they're going to actually go aggressive. Pop the 5 Omens as well. There is the free at last, knocking down Project Melody to about half HP. And we do still have fights happening all over the place. Frankie Doodle will get taken out more or less by Deus. The Leaping Strike does not get them over the wall. Ghost Electricity now getting aggressed on again by the Sylvia, but it's actually going to be, oh, no, it is going to be the Sylvia that does pick it up. Wraith Kira trying for the third party, does not succeed with it in the end. The 2 Sylvias now targeting down the Yugi. It will be just one of them as the other one decides to walk away into the arms of safety. And now Kira, the single last remaining melee character remaining amongst these 4 players that are remaining, and it will be the temporary zones finally popping. 54 seconds, I apologize, on to Kira remaining on their hands. Project Melody having 28, Nico Sushi at about 40, and Deus is still eating no timer whatsoever on the right side. It's going to be the Sylvia versus Sylvia matchup over towards the left and the south side of archery range. There is the board going down as well. Nico Sushi has to run away from this. There is the free at last as well, but it's not going to matter. Project Melody picking up the kill onto Nico Sushi. A couple of seconds regained for Nico Sushi, for Project Melody, but they still don't have nearly enough time to survive this final zone. Deus trying their best to just push away Project Melody to their best ability. Wraith Kira is in the melee range of the Sylvia, and they will be able to pick it up. So now it just comes down to Wraith Kira and Deus. Will this be the tier gap difference? Once again, the bubble comes out. The stun is not going to come through. Where's the final auto attack? And there it goes. Wraith Kira being taken down by Wilson, and that will allow Deus to walk away with game number 4. 2 kills under his name. A very slow game, I would have to say, for Deus, but he still wins it out in the end.
Yeah, I don't think Kira had the Hermes boots that time to get the tenacity really high, but so we saw a stun lasting for about as long as it should have. Whereas I think the last 2 times they 1v1, Kira just kind of like immediately popped out of the stun the moment it landed. Yeah, he was running red shoes, so his defenses were much lower. But Deus is probably happy about that result. I feel like he didn't have any interaction with any other characters for that entire game until the very, very end, as he did end up taking out Frankie Doodle and Kira for the last 2 kills. So yeah, hopefully, I think that will put Deus up in points by a decent amount because he was contesting for the top few places. And if you don't mind, you can go through the scores that were just posted, Shubi.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wait, did it actually get posted?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Discord took a few seconds to actually update. All right, here we go. So at the very bottom, we still have Waterfudge and oh no, Waterfudge and Binks are 2 probably the most coveted players that would be in the high seedings for this tournament. Are stuck on the ground of the scores, sitting both at 9 and 7 points for themselves, respectively, sitting at 17th and 18th. And above them is going to be Trick 69 with 13. Lily Petal and 200 MS will be tied with 14 points. Absolute Terror sitting at 17. Pie Master at 8. Jenny at 19. Bobo at 24. Nico Sushi sitting at 27. Frankie Doodle with 28. Project Melody will be sitting at 30. Mies Roy sitting at 36. Nine Cash at 37 points. Ghost Electricity with 51, and very close to that will be Superior with 53. Deus sitting at 63, but the one player that has more scores than anybody else right now is going to be Wraith Kira, sitting at a comfortable 21-point lead compared to second place. Will be at 84 points on their hands. The consistency for their aggressiveness sitting on this Yuki is definitely giving them a lot of points despite not winning as many games as they should have been, considering their aggression.
Yeah, these I guess the points really just show how consistently Kira has been playing for high, I guess, kills, because Kira has been, I think I mentioned it before, but Kira has been getting a good amount of kills every single game. I know it's been memed a lot because I think he has said that Joe Zuki is B tier, but he's been showing up in these games and he's been showing pretty consistently that at the very least, DS Yuki can get a lot of kills in the early and mid game. And then I guess like if things don't all align, DST kind of falls off for like the final 1v1s, depending on which characters it is. But I think what I'm most surprised about is Superior actually falling lower and lower into the placements because I think a lot of the characters that were selected so far have still been fairly the same. So I guess it's just been I guess like maybe the fights have played out slightly differently. Maybe the items have been a little bit differently, or have been coming into his inventory a bit differently. But he has only really gained around 13 points since game number one. So his early point lead has been, excuse me, his early point lead has been dropping further and further behind, as even Ghost Electricity now is kind of creeping up on third place. So this final game, the top five placements, I guess really just the top four players and points right now are the ones who are competing for first through third place. So we'll see how everyone else handles this point discrepancy because, as we know, occasionally there are some players who completely change their strategy and play styles once they realize that they can't actually, uh, I guess, get prizing or qualifications. And we'll have to see if anyone else in this lobby is or has a similar mindset. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about when I say that people play differently
Yeah.
for the very last time. But since
Yeah.
they're not in this lobby, we're not gonna be worried
Yeah,
about
he's
them
not in
too
here right
much.
now.
Yeah, so it's not as big of an issue.
I guess another thing though that we really have to mention is how Binks has so many playstyles with this game just on Lead Island alone, but literally none of them has worked, and I feel really bad because like we know Binks is one of the best players in North America. He's gonna be going over to the Shukai instead for game number 5 here. He's just completely given up on Dylan at this point. Every single build he's tried the Nunchuck build, he's tried well, actually, the Nunchuck build twice. He tried the Buddhist Palm build last game as well, but then the good old wall standing in front of his way with the dual sword Yuki called Wraith Kira has been blocking his path to success for most of these games in the past. You will just stick onto the Shukai. Some changes here and there as well. Waterfudge will be sticking with the sniper rifle. Aya! Uh-oh. Okay, so he has depraved himself all the way down to the depths of hell on his end. So he's gonna be sticking with that character for game number 5. I believe that's actually Nine Cash going over towards the Bernice as well. He was seeing some expletive things in chat right before this game started. We do have a Leon on this game as well. I think that is Jenny playing the Leon as well. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. And everyone else still who is contesting for points still sticking with their characters that they prefer. Obviously, we see Kira continuing on with the Yuki. I think Roy was still sticking with the Adela as well. Nothing too surprising there. But yep, this is the final game of this finals of Halloween Ayumia Island, guys. This has been a very long tournament for all of us, but it was still fun. And this is the final game to round it off, and hopefully it goes extremely well.
Yeah, there's a lot of additional new factors that are going into this game as
Mm.
Waterfudge, as you said, has swapped to Sniper Aya. So it should be a super exciting closing game to this very long tournament series that Ayumi has graciously put together for all of us, and obviously all of our funders. Look at the list again. 'Cause there's I think we have like 5 or 6 people that really put in the effort to make this prize pool happen and really make this an exciting tournament series for everyone who's involved. And I especially hope it's very exciting for everyone who's viewing
Oh,
the
dude.
tournament as
Okay, okay.
well.
I'm gonna try this. If this goes into temporary zone, I'm gonna be like, oh, the temporary zone is going to be okay. I'm just gonna say like archery range again because we've had archery range final zone like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, and the final temporary archery range final zone is brought to you by yeah, yada yada yada. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
better.
exactly. Ayumi, can you type out the
Yeah, the players
funders
again.
again? Yeah, yeah, just so that we can have the list to rattle off. Especially
Yeah.
since it's the last game. We have to really just push through all the sponsors so that they're all all plugged in.
Okay, here's the
Thank
player
you.
cam of the Pie Master 7, sponsored by Flipper. Play Eternal Return, free on Steam.
The weapon that Pie is building this game, Satisfaction, is sponsored by Lucifer. Play Eternal Return free on Windows Store.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
That'd
all
be a
right,
really
let's.
messy way to cast the game. Just a total shift in like how we're speaking. Just
Wait, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me try this, right? Okay. So
Uh-huh.
Nine Cash now being taken down by Pie Master over towards Chapel that has been built thanks to the donation of Flipper. We will be being taken down almost here. Pie Master still continuing to strum up the drum against Nine Cash. We'll be running across the acceleration influx perimeter that was also sponsored by Lucifer and Shadow and Minhayun. Thank you very much for that stuff. Pie Master still continuing to chase down. Will miss the Q that was also sponsored by Flipper again for some reason. He has been sponsoring multiple items, and Nine Cash will just walk over towards a surveillance camera that was also sponsored by a bat this time around.
Yes, and we have to credit the running away of 99 Cash to an anonymous donator. Those Yeezys do not pay for themselves, and 99 Cash really had to work hard to afford those. We see Pie Master accidentally running into 200 MS, whose bow was crafted by the finest wood that was provided by an anonymous bit gifter number 2, and unfortunately, we'll be missing out on that kill as Pie Masters will be able to sneak out by a PayPal that was sent by another mysterious donator into 200 MS's account. We do see Ghost Electricity jumping onto 200 MS as Ghost Electricity will be using the omens that were funded by Flipper himself, killing a Trick. As Trick's corpse will be buried in forest, courtesy of Lucifer. Caskets, very expensive these days, and the boar will be taking Lost Omen to the face. Unfortunately, the boar was not sponsored by anybody, so we'll have to go down as we see Wraith Kira gonna be taking on Lily Petal. That is Lily Petal, right? Playing Adela. Also, we only fund Lily Petal's gameplay when she's playing a bow character, so unfortunately her funding has run out, so her wristwatch does go boom as Kira picks up the kill, and yeah, all
There you
that
go.
aside. Now that we're done right through the sponsors.
Sell out.
Yeah.
Sell out.
Actually, like, thank you guys for all the support. We really appreciate everyone's community, and me and Shubi both love everyone here. So, thank you guys for being here and showing up. We do see Jenny jumping onto Water Fudge. I feel like Jenny might be dead here because they just burned all their cooldowns jumping onto Water Fudge and didn't even get close to killing them. So yeah, the steady shot will be taking Jenny down in Cemetery Tree, and I think Water Fudge will be happy to take the tree afterwards. I think Ghost is probably eyeing it, but isn't sure if there's someone there, so he probably just walk down to the Uptown.
Yeah, probably a good idea too. I think Sniper Rifle Aya, especially with the introduction of augments, have been one of the most feared things because you all of a sudden just get minus about half your defense early game without even seeing a character that you just get shot from. Frailty has been so strong on that character in pre-season 4 that there are just builds where you go Polaris and then crit that I think Chacha was playing last night and he was finding extreme success on because all you have to do is just hit people. You just aim your sights on them. They can't even see you, but you just shoot a couple times and their defense is gone. Look at this. It's exactly the same thing. Waterfudge is just doing so much damage to some of these players and he just doesn't have to deal with anything at all. One of the sniper shots do also hit, the other one misses, so Ghost will still be walking away, but the damage output on the Sniper Rifle Aya is so ridiculously high right now that it's going to be difficult for a lot of these players to really go in. And even then, even if you go in, you still can just dash away, and you also have the blank cartridge on the Aya as well, so definitely a safe pick, but also a dangerous one to pick too.
Yeah, I think Sniper Aya is possibly one of the most underrated characters in my opinion, just because you have so much safety, especially if you run Thea at nighttime. You have so much vision range. You honestly, if you have vision control over bushes, there's almost no character that can feasibly jump at you and take you down, unless it's like a glove character. Oh, you can use Sushi being taken down by Project Melly with a lot of help from Waterfudge on the end there, because Waterfudge was the person that dropped Niku Sushi to below half HP with 2 auto attacks and 1 Q. So while Sniper Aya might not be another fight going on, 2 fights happening right here. Kira, Waterfudge walking hand in hand, running away from Project Melly. As Kira goes down to Sniper Aya, that's a huge deal because Kira is the lead in points, and Project Melly will be taking out Waterfudge. So as in their dying breath, Waterfudge flipped the bird at Kira, said, "You better pray that the second and third place players don't go on a spree this game because you are now locked in at 84 points. Actually, I think 87 points because you got 1 kill. But yeah, that really puts Deus. I think Deus is the only other person up, right? Deus, Ghost Electricity.
Superior was another one too.
Oh yeah, Superior. So yeah, so the 3 players that are currently vying for first place are all still alive, and honestly, the point margins are not that large. It's just a very small 20-point gap between Deus and Kira. So the fact that Kira might have his first play just yoinked away from him by what's essentially a high aggression griefer pick, it must be really upsetting if it does come down to that. So we will see what ends up happening. Maybe Davis is the next victim of Nine sniper build, a Bernice build. But with Water Fudge going down that quickly after taking down one of the front runners, it's going to be pretty rough for Kira on the sidelines, in my
Yeah, he's
opinion.
gonna have to spectate how this game really goes through, just as a spectator, not as an actual player. And this is what I said earlier, man. Frailty is so annoying to go up against, especially as a melee character up against this Polaris or any sniper route build from this Aya. You just take so much damage. You have no route to necessarily expect it at all either, since your vision range most of the time as any other character doesn't really constitute you to see the sniper Aya before you get shot down. So you just immediately have to either choose to leave or fight with the frailty buff already on you, and that is when sniper Aya really shines. Wraith Gear getting taken down this early completely shifts this whole scoreboard around, and some of the players on the bottom section of the first place scoreboard is going to really have to look to actually getting aggressive here. Deus definitely, as you said, is going to be one of those players who is going to be eyeing for that first place prize now that a Yuki has fallen in this game. We have a small fight between Roy as well as Project Melody over towards Factory. They will just disengage from one another. Nothing too massive going there. Roy just continuing to put down the chess pieces. That is also sponsored by the Chess Association, but that's okay. Roy getting chased down a little bit more, so the queen is actually going to miss. They're going to have to use the good old checkmate as well.
Oh my
Oh!
god, the
Tire
tire!
snipe! Tire snipe from Project Melody. GG no re calls Project Melody, and that does it for Roy's run in this tournament, which he actually has been doing pretty well. I would say he was relatively in contention for first place or even top 3 as well for himself. He just gets sniped off like that. And that is going to be a kill going to that Sylvia. And oh my goodness, that is going to be maddening for Roy.
Yeah, I feel like it's really, really hard to land spare tires. Actually, hold that thought as we do see a 1v1 between Absolute Terror and 200 MS happening, and Ali, 200 MS barely getting the kill on Absolute Terror, courtesy of Healing Drone. If you guys don't know, Healing Drone, I think it heals you plus 1% per level, or plus 0.1% per level. So, right there, we saw, oh, actually another fight happening over the Cemetery Tree as Pie Master jumps Project Melody unbiking it because I don't know. Oh, actually, goes and Christie yoinking the kill right under Pie Master's nose. The the Charm of the Nomad not being cancelled, the ending damage not being cancelled by the dance that Heart puts out during her ultimate, and Pie Master must be a little bit miffed at that kill steal as Ghost Electricity is kind of lurking in the corner. But as I was trying to say, the healing drone that 200 MS was taking, it heals you, I think, at least 1% of your HP of your missing HP per second at that level, if not more. So the difference there was actually healing drone because 200 MS spent so long at I think 10% HP that he was basically drain tanking Absolute Terror's damage there. I think Absolute Terror must have whiffed like 1 or 2 critical hits at the very end, which ended up costing him his life. That's pretty
Unfortunate.
insane.
Yeah, unfortunate. A lot of these players getting taken down for reasons that they cannot control. Pie Master just gets one shot with the burn to a crisp. He has no way out of that either. Peacemaker does not stop that skill either, so Pie Master just had to sit there and take it all the way. Bramflakes is typing up an absolute storm on the side too, so this is a wonderful thing that I can hear in my ears. What is wrong with your mic, buddy?
I didn't realize it's activating. I think it's because the heater in the background is triggering my mic. Let me adjust the settings really quickly.
That was really weird. All of us, I thought I was just like in the sky for a second because I just heard like background noise. It was weird.
Oh no, that's definitely on my end. Sorry about that.
You're completely fine. 99 Cash still walking out. 200 MS trying to pick up the kill against the Bernice will not really result in anything beneficial for them. 99 Cash now. Oh goodness gracious! I dropped my pencil. Will just hyperloop out now. We're going to have Hotel as well as Cemetery closing off. Forest and Alley will be available. Omega being spawned up there, and Binky is the closest person to it. So that should hypothetically be a Force Core going towards his direction. Not sure what he's necessarily going to do anything with, though. You know, he has one kill. Obviously, there's no way in the world he is contending for any of the first top 3 placements at this point with the amount of scores he has. Superior getting taken down as well. There is another contender for first place being taken down too. But do remember, ladies and gentlemen, Deus has 0 kills. Ghost has 3. This is looking pretty spicy going into final couple zones.
Yeah, I think it's like you mentioned. I think we mentioned earlier, like Ghost is one of the people that's contending for first place, and the amount of points that are available in this lobby are dropping lower and lower. I think Deus was 20 points behind Kira. Let me check really quickly, but I think he was just 20 points behind, and he needs at least 3 kills to close that gap, even with first place, I believe. So the fact that Ghost Electricity is slipping up a lot of the kills going into the final 7 players that are available in the lobby means that it looks like Ghost Electricity might be the only player that can actually knock Kira down, because the other person that was in contention was Superior, who just died as he saw to Ghost Electricity. And Dave's like, nobody wants to interact with the Cicella at any point in the game, so I guess it's like kind of a way that Cicella is quote unquote nerfed, because nobody wants to fight her and everyone just walks away, and Cicellas really can't chase that well outside of spam pulling themselves towards their target. And if somebody sees you burn your play with us moving towards them, they're gonna jump you, and you're gonna have your most important crowd control ability down.
Uh-oh. Oh, uh-oh!
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
he actually got hit with the explosive bullet. That was actually a good decision from 99Cash. Look at the items in his inventory right now as well, because he has so much potential at the moment to go with whatever items he can find. If he finds, obviously, a meteorite, he can go for the Fallen Pegasus. He has the Force Core in his inventory. He can go for the Elysian Halo, or he can even go for an Auto Arms if he chooses to do so. He has a lot of things that he can do. 200 MS now, trying to take down Deus as well. The healing drone healing so much onto 200 MS.
Oh my
Will
god.
take down Deus. That is such a turnaround too. And now it just comes down to so many players remaining on the map. Will Frankie Doodle finally be able to pick up his first kill? It will be Frankie Doodle. There he goes. The Rack finally picking up a kill, but it's going to be Ghost Electricity. On the other hand, KazCross, 5 Omen will kill Frankie Doodle. 1, 2, 3 is the way that all these players fall off. 99Cash now trying his best to pick up Wickling as well, but he has 20 seconds remaining. Yeah, he knows he can't do it anymore because Cemetery is also close. An unfortunate loss for 99Cash, but Ghost Electricity is in the driving and control house right now in Lumia Island in game number 5. He has all the things he wants in the world at the moment. Azure Dagger, Cabana, and the Scotties. All he needs to do is just round the game off, and he should still be qualified for being able to get first place over Wraith Kira.
Yeah, Ghost is in such a driver's seat right now. I think obviously we still have one character that's alive that can abuse Birdie 487 in the form of 99Cash. He was trying to really get to that item, as you can see from him trying to leash Wicklin. And Wicklin kind of went on an adventure there. As you guys might be aware, Wicklin now randomly goes to any open zone that's available. And she chose to go to like Factory that time. But then I will be able to get the BF blood. He needs to go fast though, because Binky is right there. Another explosive bola. But the amp drone is gonna burn him into the ground as Binky just collects his free kill and VF blood sample. He doesn't even have the Wicklin buff, but I don't think he cares. He's probably just happy that he managed to get all the items that are available from it. Taproots is gonna make him so strong. Gunbai is gonna be such a good upgrade. There's so many things that are gonna be so powerful on that Shokai, and I think Ghost has his work cut out for him, because I don't know if Hedging can burn through all the HP that Shokai now has when you factor in the fact that melees have gotten so much extra HP in the past few patches. And Shokai didn't even build any of those items, or didn't build HP items to begin with, so the melee HP buffs just help him get even tankier than he was before.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny about that kill onto Nine dude? Binky was wearing a Mavericks this time around, so that explosive bola didn't even stay for that long this time. And that's what saved Nine from getting just completely run down by the burnt to a crisp in the last encounter he had with Binky up towards Pawn. And this time around, it's not even going to be a factor. A great saucepan into the walk it off, closing the gap and making it so that the Bernice just straight up can't even run. And then the Mavericks coming in clutch with the burnt to his crisp will just completely clean out house with that Bernice on the map. and he tried so hard. Burgundy was in his grasp, and it just wasn't a thing that is going to happen. And Binky now is sitting on with a couple of items from Wickling as well. As you mentioned, the Taproots obviously would be the best case scenario for him, sitting on it now with the snare from Pond. And he also got the Kundala as well. This man is
Oh
on
my
crack at the
gosh.
moment. So many items, so much healing. He has 16 fish and chips in his inventory as well. Ghost Electricity definitely can and still has a chance to take it all in this tournament, but he has a lot of work set up for him, as the final two players right now are the tankiest beasts in Eternal Return that you can ever think up of, and Ghost has to be scared.
Yeah, he needs these last 2 kills to even have a chance. I think if he gets all of these kills, like both these kills and first plays, I think he might have a chance of actually toppling the placements. And he finds Bobo really early on before the final zone's closed. So Bobo is dropping his smart bombs in an attempt to defend himself, but Ghost is going in, not gonna have his ultimate cancel, gonna be landing the root, gonna be landing everything. Caltrops don't even matter because he kills Bobo through all that damage, and Binky is trying to figure out where that action happened. He doesn't want to actually fight Hedgen with all of their cooldowns up at the very end, because even though Shokai does a lot of damage, Hedgen's Sphere does so well. Actually, oh, gonna be missing the saucepan, and Ghost is gonna be trying to really delay for his ultimate as he hops over the wall. He has 55 seconds of... Actually, he has like a minute and 30 seconds to wait around and burn timer and potentially vie for a better position against his Shokai, but he has to be careful, because if he gets hit by a single, really just a single ability, that might just spell the end for him, as Binky is trying his best to zone him out of the bridge.
Dude, I can already see it. Wraith Kira is typing in chat. Ghost Electricity. All he has to do is buy time for the 5 omens to go through. Binky is also sitting on 150 stacks, so nothing more he can do in regards to his stacking capabilities. But Ghost Electricity right now has to be so nervous because he can do it. He just killed the Lennox as well, one of the other very tanky characters remaining in the lobby, and it's going to be Binks at the end of it all. He needs to kill this super tanky Shukai. Very, very careful that he needs to be as well. The amplification drone coming in clutch for Binky. Ghost Electricity also sitting on that as well. As long as he doesn't get his 5 omens canceled, he should have a relatively decent chance, since we know how Ghost Electricity plays. 2 smart bombs in his inventory as well. He has the Moonstone Water too. He has 5 of them in his inventory, so his attack power should not be an issue whatsoever with the Suitor Sana too. He is on absolute cracked out on items, and he just needs to finish it off. And here we go. It is going to start very soon. There is the final zone popping off. There is the saucepan, and the walk it off is actually going to miss. There is the fear as well. There is the burn to a crisp being wasted by Binky, and this is the time for Ghost Electricity to do whatever he wants for the next 40 or so seconds that skill is down. Ghost Electricity still has access to the 5 omens if he really chooses to do so. Both of them are at about equivalent timing on their hands for their red timer. Here we go. There's the walk it off. Saucepan going in as well. Now it's time for Binky to start losing time. Ghost Electricity is on the driving house for this section. 40 seconds remaining onto Binky. 20 seconds on the final zone. This is Ghost's time. As long as he doesn't lose any more timer than this, he should be able to round this game out. There is the second and the charm going out to Ghost Electricity. He just needs to buy time. Binky still does not have access to the burnt to a crisp at all. There's a saucepan missing as well. Ghost Electricity, you are so close to being taken down to about half HP. 1 second remaining. 30 seconds onto Binky. There's 39 on Ghost Electricity. This should be it. Ghost Electricity will round out game number 5 with another kill, going into 6 kills. And Ghost Electricity, has he done it? Has he won it all? Has he turned it around?
Oh my, it's actually crazy that so many of these final zones come down to the fact that the only win condition for the other player is to burn the timer out and just win by default. The head boom comes out from Binky from his timer running out, and Ghost Electricity cleans up game number 5 with first place and 6 kills. Now, is that enough for him to close the gap between him and Wraith Kira, that is up in first place at points? Keep in mind, guys, that Kira did get 1 kill at the beginning of game 5, so Ghost is actually only really has 5 kills in that difference. So I think kills is like 3 points per kill and 13 points for first place. So is 28 points positive enough for Ghost to close the gap? We'll have to see what the tournament stat goes or what the scores end up being, but that is so close. It's such a close finals.
This is what Ghost has been looking for all this time, and Kira has to be extremely nervous right now because he worked so hard through multiple games in this tournament, getting kills after kills after kills. He may have only won one game, but that game he had 8 kills, and he had 5 kills in another. He had 4 kills in another. It feels like his aggression was unparalleled in this tournament, but just Ghost comes in. 2 wins not back to back because Deus won game 4, but Ghost Electricity winning game number 3 with 4 kills, winning game number 5 with 6 kills, and he has been the silent assassin of Lumia Island throughout this entire tournament for the series of the finals, and he could have crept all the way up to the top. We are waiting for the scores, but oh my goodness, we have the scores actually.
Yeah, do you want to do the scores, or do you want can your heart take it?
Not yet. Okay. Oh my goodness. This was
Okay. So we're gonna wait for the winner to pop up, and then we're gonna do the scores with them. Actually, should we just make them read the scores? Should we make them read the scores just rub the salt into places of wounds?
Oh my god. Okay, so how about this? Like, we're not even gonna tell you guys who it is. If you know the voice, you know the voice. But if you guys don't know the voice, then you don't know the voice. You guys are also 30 seconds behind, so it's not like we care.
Oh my god.
So we will bring in the winner into the call. They will go over the scores themselves. You can bring him in, Ayumi. All right. Would you like to go over the scores without revealing yourself?
Yep, you don't know who you are.
Why, yes, I would. I would love to.
There you go. Okay, go.
Do you want me to start at the bottom or the top?
Start at the very bottom. This is all.
Oh, yes. I love starting.
Why are you speaking like that, sir? I know
you told me to mask my identity.
Okay,
of course,
okay, you're right. My bad. I fell away.
In 8th place, Trick 69 with 13 points. In 17th place, Lily Petal with 14 points. Tied for 17th place as well, Water Fudge with 14 points. 16th place goes to Absolute Terror with 20 points. Jenny is also tied. Oh, excuse me, that's 15th place. 15th place with Absolute Terror for 20 points. Pie Master 7, 14th place with 21 points. Bobal is our 12th place participant. Okay, I gotta count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. So that's 11, right? 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Okay, I'm a little dumb right now. Babo is our 11th place with 24 points. 200 MMS is our 10th position with 25 points. Binks is our 9th place position with 27 points. Nico Sushi is position number 9 with 28 points. Nine Eye Cash, position 8 with 37 points. Frankie Doodle, position 7 with 39 points. Tied with Misroy, also 39 points. 5th place, Project Melody with 42 points. 3rd place, Superior 1. Actually, this is 4th place. I'm done at counting. Superior 1 with 58 points. Deus XM, 3rd place, 68 points. Ghost Electricity, 2nd place, with fucking 87 points. Actually, it's 85, but it's 85. And your winner for this tournament is yours truly, the Immaculate Wraith Kira, with 88 points.
You know what's funny?
Beautiful.
Yeah, what's up?
You tried to mask your voice, but the scoreboard was already on the screen.
It's totally fine.
I tried. My brain's a little fried. I did the math like 7 times to see how many kills Ghost would need to tie with me, and I fucked it up like 15 times.
I could tell from the fact that you need to count down like 4 times just to get to your place down 9th place.
And I still messed it up.
Yeah, it's totally fine though. But how do you feel after? I feel like this is the first tournament that I remember you like winning like by such a slim margin.
It's been a
it's been a
while.
while.
I've generally gotten like top 3. It's been a while since I got a first. It happened after I started not picking S tier characters.
He says with a hint of hesitation in
It,
his voice, as everybody in the chat will immediately doubt
yeah,
him.
yeah. So I gotta say, one of the advantages of not picking an S tier character, I know you guys watched Sissela that entire game. Everybody avoided Deus XM. It was great. He couldn't get any kills because no one wanted to fight him. But people thought they could take me. It was much better in that regard, you know? It's your hidden advantage. People will fight you, and sometimes they'll kill you, but you might get a kill out of it, you know? It works out.
Yeah. That's true. I feel like it's like you said, because I was mentioning that Deus like didn't actually get to have any action for the majority of every game until like the final zone. Like he got Wickling completely uncontested because everybody knew that he was going to be there. He got like every objective he ever wanted completely uncontested, and then final zone when people finally couldn't run from him, he finally got the points. Do you think? I guess if Cicella was regarded to be a lower tier character, do you think that Deus would have had like would have broken
Yeah,
100 points?
way better
Way
time
more.
kills.
Yeah.
It's like Deus XM would have won this without a doubt if he just was able to find more kills. 200 MS is also a god in that final game. My hero. My hero. My hero.
Your hero, yeah.
I was very sad to see Jackie take him out right after. That was sad.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, you probably saw what happened down in Uptown since you were.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I popped off in the watch party I had going on. It was nice.
Yeah, do you after your turn, or I guess after this showing, I know you just made a tier list. We won't probably won't bother with bringing it up, but do you think there are any like shifts to specifically your main after
Oh
like, or do
yeah,
you think that
my main is actually I put him in B tier, but I meant to put him in C+ tier. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we had that clarified.
No matter what I say, it won't matter. But I do think there are better choices than Yuki. But what allowed me to do so well was I was able to find a lot of free kills this tournament, and I was able to rat jam to final zone. I only had one good showing in final zone, and the rest of it was kind of by the grace of everyone leaving me alone.
Yeah, that happens. But were there any characters that surprised you in terms of effectiveness? Because I know that I think a lot of people regard like Sylvia as a very consistent tournament player or tournament character. So I won't speak to very much about like Sylvia's doing well. But was there any other character that you were like, wow, that did a lot better than I expected?
No. I think there are characters where I saw the opposite, and I don't really want to like name call, but I definitely expected certain characters to do better. But the characters that did well, right? Let me think about that list. Who was playing who? No, it seems kind of exactly like you'd expect. A lot of the characters that aren't very good weren't even really picked, right? Like, I don't think any character below what I put as like B was picked, which is exactly what I expected to have happen. Because as you thin out the picks, right, as we get the cream of the crop as far as placement and better players, they're going to gravitate more toward better characters. And you're not going to see like Leon come up. You're not going to see. Well, we did see a Bernice, but I don't
And they
know.
actually also did see a Leon.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of the characters that I didn't regard as good. But like we saw a few Adelas, a few Nadines, Jenny. We saw Ava come up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was just because there were so many high tier characters there, it was easy to see characters not doing well because they were just fighting against characters that were like equal power level. But I think probably as far as like the tier list that I've made and how I've talked about it, I probably was the most standout as far as position with Yuki. So I guess Yuki did better than expected. But that I obviously needed to lead into that because saying that outright would be very being a braggart, yeah?
Yeah.
You can do that plenty on your own stream too.
Yeah.
All right, to round it off, do you have anything else you want to say to the fans or even anyone just watching the stream? Just to round it off.
In the Lord of our immortal Rhine, North America is full of bad players. Bless you all.
Congratulations once again, Kira. Thank you so much for all of your performances throughout qualifiers, semis, and the finals. And once again, to all of you guys in the chat, thank you all for coming out to the series. It was a great rotation of games. Congratulations to all the players who played as well, not just even the winners, but everyone who played. You guys did absolutely amazing. Brand, thank you being for the caster all the time. You know, I missed you yesterday, but you were here today, and that's what matters.
Yeah, if you give Shuvi attention, he'll forget about his abandonment issues that you personally gave him the day before. I think it's how it goes, right?
And yep, Ayumi, thank you so much for hosting all this time. I'm not sure if you necessarily want to say anything to round off this tournament, and you know, I'll definitely always go to say, you know, the OG scorekeeper. Pari's muted, so he can't even say anything. Everybody.
Oh, hi.
Oh
Thank you.
no!
Yeah, Pari, there we go. He's
There we
here.
go.
He is
Hi,
the
Pari.
we love Pari here.
You love
Yeah,
Pari.
okay. Hi, thank you, Ayumi, for hosting again. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Okay, that's all. I go back on mute.
All right, and yeah, that is gonna be it from me and Bramflakes. If Ayumi wants to say anything else too, we will definitely leave the time here for you to do so. You got anything, Ayumi? Yay!
So are we relaying that to the viewers? Because I don't think her. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
so just as the closing end, Ayumi loves you all very, very much. She
Lots
thinks
of
this is a very, very positive community, and she wishes that she could do more for us all the time, right? Smile. But yeah, no, again, like just
Ayumi's message sponsored by all the donators.
yeah.
All right, thank you all for coming out to the tournament today. We all had fun here. Hopefully, you guys had fun too. And I can't say anything more than that. I mean, we will see you guys at any future events that occur during the community. For all of you guys who supported us here, thank you so much. We will see you guys later, and that is going to be it.
And by later, he means on his channel in like 30 seconds.
Don't watch. I'm going to miss a bunch of bullets.